Welcome, Sports Nation, to Sports. Welcome, Sports Nation, to Sports DTM, the sports channel where we call sports down the middle. You can expect the latest in sports news, views, and reviews from our resident analysts. No sports topic is too controversial, and no team or player is above criticism. So just smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on our balanced offering of riveting sports content. And don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Welcome to Sports DTM.
Let's do this again. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another Thursday Night Live with DTM. I want to take this opportunity to wish all the viewers and subscribers a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year when it comes. This will be our Thursday night Christmas special. And we have a very special guest with us tonight, Coach Andrew Price. How are you doing, Coach?
Thanks for having me, gentlemen. I'm good.
Yeah, man, and welcome back to Sports Down the Middle.
Yes, glad to be back on the show.
All right. We have, as usual, Tigat is with me tonight. Tigat, how you doing? How the cool?
Yeah, man. Mr. Price, big up yourself. Thank you for showing up.
All right. So how the weather, Tigat?
It's just a little bit windy and cool. You understand? So, yeah, man, that's how it is so far. Windy, cool.
All right. This week, a lot of news this week, but we much touch on Paul Hall's comment. First, I need to know, Mr. Price, the Gleaner had the article out. What were you answering? What was the question posed at you? First of all.
Well, the question posed was, do you believe that Jamaica should concentrate on getting the ball to Leon Bailey as a means to being successful on the field? And when I was asked that question, I answered very candidly. What Jamaica needs right now is to have the proper chemistry on the field, both offensively and defensively, so that we can put together a cohesive unit that can get wins for us, because that's what we need in the remainder of our fixtures. And I don't believe in concentrating on just one player. Leon Bailey is just one cog within the wheel. We need to have a proper system. There are several other players on the team that have to make the team a cohesive unit. So my focus would be trying to see how well we can transition from defense to offense, and similarly from offense to defense, so that we don't give up any more goals and we get as much goals as we can. Because if we have any aspirations of qualifying for Qatar, we're going to have to win and we're going to have to score goals. So that was the context of my answer. And I also made the point that you can't really concentrate on Leon at this point in time, because he's not in any. And a lot of the games he hasn't played for Jamaica in this qualifying round is because he has been out injured, and he has just come back, played 2 games for Jamaica, and is now back on the injury list with Aston Villa, not playing right now. So he's possibly very doubtful to be available for the 2 January fixtures. So he will have to look, the coach at his Paul Hall will have to now look at other players to utilize and concentrate on, so that he can get those maximum points in those 2 games. So that was the context of my answer to the journalist.
Okay. Go ahead.
Mr. Price, in fairness, you think Mr. Hall was trying to get the Jamaican on the bandwagon of the Reggae Boys, like he was saying that we're using Leon Bailey as a poster boy and everybody must join in. You think that was the reason for he saying that, giving all Leon Bailey the ball? You think that's may be one of the reasons he say that? In rather saying that
possibly he was looking for somebody with flair.
Right. But you could
he's looking for somebody who can open up a can of worms.
But you could say give Ravel the ball. Ravel is a player with flair also.
Well, regardless of whoever is your playmaker on the team,
right?
The team definitely, the entire unit to be cohesive and to be on the same wavelength, so that we can get attacking forays on our opposition's defensive unit. And I think that was the point that I was trying to make. So that you can't concentrate on one player. You have to look at the sum of all players. And Leon is just one cog in the wheel.
Right.
Yeah, but we understand that, and that's facts. But at the same time, though, one don't want to agree with Paul Hall because we want to improve our better players. And as I said before, Leon is not, on form right now. So maybe after the January window, we can see that coming to play. Because a lot of persons might say, we need Leon Bailey to qualify. What say you?
To qualify. I am somebody who doesn't concentrate on one player. I'm going to be very honest. Talent, I want him to do well. I am one of his greatest supporters. But the fact is that a team is made up of all 11 players and everybody has to play their part. What Jamaica needs at this point in time is to be playing in as a cohesive unit where all the players are on the same wavelength, where we are trying to get Jamaica to Qatar. And it's going to take a Herculean task from all the players, not just Leon, but there's Antonio, there's a lot of players, there's Flemings, there's a lot of players out there, Rel Morrison. There are several players there who have to play their part, and everybody has to contribute. But what we really need the team to do as a cohesive unit, going both forward and coming back in defense. Our transitional game is much too slow and much too predictable, and we need to start moving this ball around a lot quicker by having the quality players. Quality players that we need on the field have to be match fit, injury-free, and raring to go. It's up to the coach to select the best 11 out there to give Jamaica the required results. And I'm in all the support of any coach, whether it's Theodore Whitmore, Paul Hall, Bradley Stewart, anybody, any coach that coaches Jamaica, I'm in support of them as long as they can put the best 11 out that can get us the required result.
You're kind of breaking up, Surprise. Tigat, he's breaking up for you?
Yeah, he was going in and out, but I hear majority of the stuff with what he was saying.
Okay.
I hope the fans did.
Coach, I'm glad you bring up the point that you are, totally with the coach, because I think the narrative that was being painted was that the local coaches, somewhat were not with the coach. That bad narrative. So I'm glad you come out now to put that to rest.
No, but you see, interpretation is a hell of a thing, and people always take things out of context. I answered the question. I answered the question as best as I could, based on what the journalist asked me, and I answered very directly, very explicitly.
True. Lost in translation.
Yeah. It's a pity we can't get the other coach like Mr. Dookie and it was Bradley, right? That also makes similar
Bradley
comments.
Stewart.
Well, which was blown out of proportion. You understand? And it makes it seems like some of the local coaches are ready to draw straws, and go on the fence against the coach.
Not at all.
But it's not so.
Not at all. Look, every coach in Jamaica is supportive of the national program, wants the country to do well, and wants the country to qualify for the Qatar World Cup. Every single coach. Now, if you ask us questions, then we're going to give honest answers. And I think we gave honest answers.
And that's the thing with me then, a lot of person saying, why are these local coaches coming out now and talking? But I'm saying to myself, you've been asked a question, so you have to answer. Maybe prior to this, you weren't being asked certain questions.
Right.
So, it's a funny thing.
As a coach, I am aware of the type of scrutiny that coaches get. So I'm very aware of what Paul Hall is going through. And on the head lies the crown that is going to make the decisions. And Paul is going to come under a lot of scrutiny also, like any coach.
Right. a lot of persons were impressed with his press conference. I don't know if you got a chance to hear his responses to the questions. What
Yes,
you thought
yes,
about
I heard it. I heard it.
what you
I
thought
heard it.
about his vision for the team?
No, he has a good vision. Every coach has their own philosophy. I'm sure Whitmore had his philosophy. Now Hall will have to come and impress with his philosophy. His philosophy sounds very sound, but it's to actually go out there on the field and get the players to do it. And I believe that the very most important thing is to have proper player selection so that you can get the best 11 out there at all times, despite wherever in the world these players are. Get the chemistry and the best players out there, and you'll get results.
Yeah, definitely. Any questions from the comment section? Mr. Price won't be here the entire night. Any questions from the comment section? Tiga, do you have any more questions?
Yeah, I haven't seen any question coming in. All right, there was an article posted today about Paul Hall excited about Jamaica challenge, and he was saying that Jamaica can be also benefit from QPR. As you know that he was managing the QPR, Queens Park Rangers, and he said Jamaica can be benefit. Oh, you see that, Mr. Price? Can the local lads benefit from Paul Hall being here?
Well, he mentioned extension the Caribbean. He said the Caribbean could benefit.
Extension Caribbean, but we're just talking.
I'm happy. I would hope that Paul would use his influence to see how best he can get Caribbean and especially Jamaican players in the English League. But if you look at our entire squad of about 30 players, which are the core group of players, most of the players play overseas throughout the entire world. Not only in the diaspora, but throughout the entire world. We had a player this week that is going to be playing for Spartak Moscow. So it just shows you the length and breadth where we have players that represent the country. Right now, our defender is now one of our defenders is now playing in the Australian A League. So we have players the length and breadth of the globe, and what we need to do is to get the best aggregation together to go out on the field and represent Jamaica well and do us proud. And the selection is the important factor at this point in time.
Yes, selection is key. You touched on a very good one a while ago. The player that just signed for
Hold on, Tiga.
We're not rushing into that. We're not
rushing into the big topic yet.
Big topic. All right, we're not rushing on that. All right, so
I have a serious question for you, Coach.
Go ahead, Eddie.
You're free to leave alone if you want. But did you apply for the vacant post?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
All right, we have a question coming in from
why is that? Why is that, Coach?
I don't think it was the most prudent thing at this point in time.
Okay. You were saying, Tiga?
Yeah, we have one question coming in from the comment section. Adrian Adman, DTM. He said, your thoughts on Mr. Paul Hall's statement of pressing an attack?
Personally, I have no problem with pressing an attack. As long as the entire team does the press together and they press together as a unit, I have no problem. What you don't want is pressing where it's disjointed, where not all the players are pressing, and somehow the opposing team can have an opportunity to transition and counter on us. So if we press together and we can get the ball higher up the field and then start the attack, all is well. And if Mr. Hall believes that this is the way to go, I would encourage him to go at it, as long as he can get the players to buy in and everybody to press together as a unit and get the ball high up the field, and we can start attacks very quickly, especially with our players who are blessed with a lot of speed.
Okay, beautiful.
Sir Price, Hall mentioned a couple of times about commitment of players. I know that you're in and around the national teams. How big of a thing you think this is? Because a lot of persons have been saying that certain players are not committed enough. What do you think about that? Paul Hall say you want to pick players that are committed.
Well, the whole thing about it is the identification of the commitment of the players. I'm sure Paul Hall had been with the team up until this point, so he must be aware of the type of a commitment that is required for the Jamaica team. And therefore, that's why I continue to say the it's very important that his selections are on point. He must know the people who he can depend on and the people who he believes is committed to the cause and trying to help Jamaica, despite the position that we are in, try and qualify for the Qatar World Cup. So commitment is definitely very important, and I believe that Mr. Hall must have those players at the top of his agenda to invite the committed players who can help us along the way.
All right. Tiga.
Good. Yes, I was going to lean at ask the same question about the commitment. What does that mean? We hear the rumor about certain players are not committed, and certain players are cause Mr. Campbell, good night to you, Mr. Campbell. Mr. Campbell is saying that we'll have a tough task qualifying the team because some of the players may sabotage the program. That was in his opinion.
No, I don't think that is true. But
yeah, I think that is
one of the things in life, when people are not close to a situation, a lot of innuendos and interpretations may be passed. As I tell people, I'm a Gunner supporter. I am not at Colony every day to see the training sessions, and the best person to make assessment of training sessions is Michael Arteta. Now, I believe that Paul Hall is the best person to make the assessments of the player's commitment and decide who he wants to play and who he wants to start in what particular game and in what particular position. So it's definitely up to the coach, and I think he has been around long enough during this World Cup qualification where he can make a good judgment call and decide on the players that he expects to go out there and deliver the goods.
Okay, good.
Persons, again, Merry Christmas when it comes. This is DTM. Like the live, subscribe if you're new around here. We're talking with Coach Andrew Price. If you have any questions for Coach, let us hear them in the comment section as we await some other guests to join. Claudia, you have any question? Claudia, say Claudia Hodges is in the chat. Welcome everybody.
Yes, definitely. And I don't think the players they want to really sabotage their opportunity to play at top level and for better clubs to see them. Because I know that some of them really want to move from the club they are to a better club and stuff like that. So I don't think the players they really sabotage themselves. Because guess what? Next 4 years I promise to them. You understand? Uprising footballers might just come on the scene and they'll not see a game. And they have this one opportunity and just lose it. You understand? So I don't think the players that would really, really try to sabotage themselves. I'm not going into the World Cup. Just let me welcome J Taylor.
Big up yourself till you got
Taylor, we have with us Andrew Price. Any questions for him? I know you must have been familiar with what's going on with Paul Hall's comments and the responses from the local coaches.
Yes.
Any questions?
Yes, for sure. And Tiga, you owe me an apology. Remember, that you noticed what occurred after we had the last show, and I told you that Tapa wasn't the man for the job. So now you actually saw that he wasn't the man for the job. So good afternoon, Mr.
Okay, Mr. Taylor.
Yeah. Me watch the show today, because before I come up, I get my props because I'm the. Let me just say this, Coach Price. I'm one of the first individuals on YouTube who came out and said that Tapa should be removed. This was right in the middle of the right after the Gold Cup. I thought he showed that he wasn't capable of understanding where the game was going or getting Jamaica set up to play cutting edge football, and it has proven. We got 7 points from 8 games, so that's technically less than a point per game. Let me just address what I saw in the newspaper this week. I was quite disappointed, even though I think the newspaper kind of maybe they kind of spun the article or
exactly.
They spun it, so they made it seem like all of a sudden now the local coaches started to agree, like, hey, we agree that Paul Hall should do things this way. My thing was, if the coaches had listened to Paul Hall's his interview, he didn't say that he was going to build a team around Leon Bailey. I think that was where I found a problem. I thought he said when you have a player like Leon Bailey, you want to get him the football more, which most of us do have to agree that Leon Bailey can get the football more, but I think the most of the problem was Leon Bailey didn't have the right pieces around him for Leon Bailey actually to be the Leon Bailey that we're expecting to see at Aston Villa or Leverkusen. So when I saw that article, I was quite disappointed because I never saw an article with the local coaches coming out and saying that Tapa should do this, like Tapa should actually be a patriot and step down from his job because
Mr. Taylor, before you go any further, interpretations of articles are what you read. When journalists ask people questions, they are going to answer them. And I answered my question truthfully, explicitly, and very clearly. It was very succinct. I was asked if the team should focus on Leon Bailey. And I answered honestly. And I don't believe that the team should focus on any one player. And if you ask me in the middle of the night and wake me up and ask me the same question, I give you the same answer.
Yes.
It's just a fact. We have quality players on the field, and what we need to do is have them play in a certain manner in which they can garner the points that are required to help us qualify for the World Cup. And the chemistry is very important. There are going to be very important players on the field, like Leon Bailey, and nobody's taking away any credence away from Leon Bailey. He's a quality player, but we have to play as a team, and we have to have the right chemistry and the right system, and we have to play together to win those games. So Leon Bailey is just one cog in the entire wheel. We need all the players to function in a manner that can garner us the requisite amount of points to try and qualify for the World Cup. It's a Herculean task, and we need all hands on deck. And currently, as I said in the article, if you read it properly, that Leon is not in any condition now to contribute because he's injured. So for those first 2 games that we have in January, he may not even be available because of his injury status. So to say, when the journalist asked the question, I answered honestly and succinctly the question that they asked.
Yeah.
And my answer does not in any way or shape or form mean that Jamaican coaches are not supporting Leon Bailey or not supporting Tapa Whitmore. Jamaican coaches are supporting the Jamaican team to try and qualify for the World Cup. Yeah. And every well-thinking Jamaican would want Jamaica to qualify for the World Cup. 98 has been a far time away. As a matter of fact, I was there in 98 on my own volition, and I'd like to go to Qatar on my own volition also.
Yeah, so do I.
Tennessee, that's not right. He's saying why didn't they talk when Tapa was coaching? They were talking. It's just that it's a new coach now, and things are being blown up. But as Price said earlier, once they've been asked a question, they would answer the question. Maybe they weren't being asked so many questions. But I don't believe in that statement, Tennessee.
And Eddie, that's why I asked, because I'm asking from the perspective of the fans and the YouTube diaspora. These are things that I think this is what it kind of upset most of the fans, how the article came out. And my thing is, I understand how Mr. Price articulated the article and what he meant. But we're saying that we think Paul Hall knows that as well. We think Paul Hall is a capable coach to know that Leon Bailey has been injury prone, and he's not going to build an entire team around Leon Bailey. I think what he was saying that is we need to get the ball more to this player because we know the capabilities of the player. So that's why when we saw the article stating like Paul Hall didn't understand that Leon Bailey is one, injured, and one, you can't build a team around an entire player, especially in CONCACAF. Football is not, and he's a winger. You rarely see a team is centered around a winger. It's just not, that's not how build-up play works. So it's just, this is where a lot of us got frustrated, like, oh my God, the man is in the job for 2 weeks, and here goes the local coach train now, ready to tell Paul Hall how to coach the team. And we're saying, as a diaspora, fans on YouTube and worldwide, saying, let the man come in and implement what he has to do. And when he started to do things, if we don't see, he's going to get, I said this, I'm loyal to no coach or no player. I'm loyal to Jamaica first. and the Jamaica football team. I don't care who you are. You're gonna get it. So Paul Hall, he's gonna have to get his chance, and I want to give him a fair chance to come in and implement what he wants to implement, and then we can say, there it is. You need to do this better or do this. So this is where we kind of felt a bit frustrated about that, Coach Price.
Well, don't feel frustrated. All Jamaicans want Jamaica to qualify, and we are looking forward to January, and we wish Mr. Hall all the best of luck. It's a Herculean task, so we have to admit that. But the good thing about it, we have 5 more games left and 4 of them are at home. So we have to utilize the home field advantage and see if we can get maximum points in those games.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Mr. Peart is saying that why didn't you support Whitmore, seeing that you guys are such an expert?
I think Mr. Peart is being facetious, but I will answer the question by saying we support all coaches. We are not a member of the national coaching staff. There's a national senior coaching staff, and whatever assistance they can get from us local coaches, we'll always provide that. Even Mr. Hall will get that assistance. But of course, the person in charge is the person who is hired to do the job, and his technical staff, and they are the ones that are given the choice and the demand to select the players and go out there and get the performances. So we can't interrupt their progress or their work. All we can do is play a supporting role.
Right, and I see some comments. I'm not going to address the comments, but persons have been saying that, Paul Hall is so well qualified, and that, is like we're not supposed to hear from the local coaches. So I'm definitely not for that narrative, because, as I said before, if you can help in any way, you guys are willing to help.
Military Guna, that is one of the things that I find very fascinating with Jamaican players. If you don't come from overseas, you can't coach.
Eddie Guna.
Correction.
Eddie Guna. Sorry, Mr. Guna.
Yeah.
We have this thing where, we don't believe that we have local coaches that can coach. Yeah, that may be the opinion of people, but guess what? We have qualified people all over the world. And we have local coaches who are now coaching overseas and coaching throughout the diaspora. So, what I'm saying is that if people ask us questions, we're going to give our opinions. And everybody won't agree. If everybody agreed in this world, what would the world be like? We're all going to have a difference in opinion on several points. But at the end of the day, all of us must want Jamaica to do well. And I think that is what we want, whether we are in Jamaica or outside the diaspora, for Jamaica to do well and qualify for the World Cup.
T-Gut and Eddie, can I just add to that? I think as far as the local coach is concerned, Mr. Price, this is where the fans are, because I'm just speaking from things that I've read the comments and we have discussed.
Go ahead,
the politics with the local coaches, T-Gut, where it's like this player played for this club, this player is for this club. And we saw what the politics did to the team with Theodore Whitmore, having players like Alvis Powell, who was injured and basically had to nail on one of his leg to play, and the foot and him leg fall off back. And Theodore Whitmore felt like we didn't have and you had a player who was starting week in and week out in Javane Brown in the MLS. He couldn't get 10 minutes in the team, and we're questioning: is he that bad in training? Is it that Alvis Powell, who hadn't played football in 2 years? So we're saying, so this is where a lot of fans said, no, if we had an international coach, T-Gut, that would remove the politics, because he would come in and it would be a clean slate, as he doesn't have loyalty to any of the players. This is what I think the breakup is with the local and the international coach.
While I'll take that into consideration, Coach Theodore Whitmore's resume speaks for itself. He has done well over time. He hasn't done very well in this particular World Cup qualifying campaign. But for us to sit here and be comfortable to say that Theodore Whitmore hasn't done well as a national coach would be disingenuous. I believe he has served this country well. But sometimes there comes a time where we have to move on, and we have moved on from him, and Paul Hall is now in charge. and we have to give Mr. all the support that we can give him. And we hope that with his ascendancy to the national senior team coach, that we can get the required results and still pull off a miracle and qualify for Qatar. And it's for all of us. It's for all of us to try and give him the type of support that is necessary.
Definitely.
Right.
I think we disagree in Eddie Gona with Theodore Whitmore is done well. Doing well against Cayman Islands and Bermuda. You know, that's a shaky
I have to stop in your tracks.
Always hear that,
I have to stop in your tracks, my brethren. No, my brethren, don't do that. Don't do that. You're being disingenuous. When Theodore Whitmore went to 3 consecutive Gold Cup, it's Cayman in beat. And a Cayman in beat when him go all of them semi-finals. Come on, man. You're being disingenuous, my brethren.
Well, I'm surprised. Let me interject something. Not
It's true,
only
it's
with
true.
3 consecutive Shell Cup, but he went to the final of the Gold Cup.
Against all right, so all right. I'm glad Mr.
And when he went to the final of the Gold Cup, he beat a Mexico team. It was a Mexican team he beat to go to the final.
Not
a Caribbean team.
They're going to show a wrench in that. I'm so glad. Let me get it right, Eddie Gona. I'm so glad for the opportunity to be on here tonight, and Coach Andrew Price is on here. Someone who I respect. I seen him coach in Jamaica, and I respect his knowledge. Yes,
legend.
I thought at some point that he had the capabilities of coaching the national setup. Here we go now. So what I want to ask Coach Price, the teams that Theodore Whitmore had, do you think you could have accomplished similar things with those same teams?
Yes, I believe that. You know, I'm going to tell you something. One of the things in football, football is very, very temporary, And a coach can be in form and doing well with a team in a particular period of time. And the next period of time, things don't go right. And you have to move on and go to another club. We see it all over the world. Marino goes to several clubs throughout the world, does his job, does well. Sometimes he doesn't do too well. He went to Manchester United, the big Old Trafford, the theatre of dreams, didn't do too well, had to leave. But that's part of life. And what we have to do, we have to continue recycling coaches, and coaches are going to move from one area to another. It's just unfortunate that Theodore Whitmore fell in the position where Jamaica only got 7 points from 8 games. It's unfortunate. Right. But guess what? That is an occupational hazard that all coaches know. And if you don't perform, then you'll know that there's a possibility that you're going to have to lose your job. Every coach has to understand that. And it's for you now to redouble your efforts, wheel and come again and find another team to coach. And I'm saying right now, let us not dwell on Theodore Whitmore's performance in the past or over the last 8 games, but let us now give our support to Mr. Hall over the next 6 games, which are going to be very important.
Yeah, well said.
Final thing on that, with T-Got said that Coach Whitmore, we got results against Mexico and etc. If you look at the Gold Cup, those squads in the Gold Cup previously, those were B teams. None of those teams were full strength. No,
everybody play B team at some point in time. Play B team at some point in time.
And we're gonna move on.
Sometimes play B teams.
we're gonna move on, but what I'm gonna do the fans some justice by asking the tough questions, and I'm not just skip over things because
not at all. Let me tell you something. We are all entitled to our opinion.
That's why we have a year.
Yeah, man. This is sports down the middle,
It's hard hitting. It's hard hitting. We answer the tough questions.
Yeah, and
go ahead, JT.
For saying, I think most of the fans, probably even in the chat, wouldn't agree that Theodore Whitmore did a great job as a coach. I think what happened was
the record is there now. The record is there.
The record. Listen, that's what I'm trying to say to you. Like the record is there. The record is there, but the record is also there that he has been exposed to be. He's not competent at what he was doing. As I said, Theodore Whitmore is a very conservative coach. I think he coached looking for two results: a draw or a 1-0 off a set piece. And technically, that's how we beat Mexico. We didn't outplay Mexico. Jamaica didn't have the football, and we had build-up play, and we beat Mexico. You have to look at how we won. We won scrappy games.
Taylor, man, come on, man. You're being a little bit too harsh, man. Look here, at the end of the game, the important thing is the result, and is that we beat Mexico in the semifinals and we lost to the United States in the finals. And history will show, and it will be documented, that Jamaica reached finals after beating Mexico 1-0. Whether it's by a free kick, a bicycle kick, or a header, Jamaica beat Mexico 1-0 in the semifinals. And that's what the record will show. And our grandchildren will read it and they will say, oh, Jamaica beat Mexico one time. Yeah. So whether Mexico wants to suit up them B team for that game, they got beaten on that day and them can't take it back.
Well, it's we'll disagree and move on.
Taylor, remember you're talking to a coach, so
yeah.
Result business.
Football player as well.
Football is in the thing of result. Doesn't really matter.
Result business.
Exactly.
Mr. Price.
And let me tell you something. As a coach, I will tell you that a lot of coaches feel pressured because they are pressured to get results. And then there are some coaches who try to get a development program going where they can develop players over a period of time, so they don't look for immediate success and they look for success down the line. So it depends on what you're charged to do and how quick you are required to get that success.
We see a comment here by Tennessee. Tennessee, big up. A lot of persons want to say they want to see beautiful football. He's saying that we play some of the worst football. But at the end of the day,
Look here.
What do you think? Pretty football.
Everybody wants a good football. Everybody. Everybody wants a good football, but everybody can't play a good football because it depends on the opposition that allows you to play a good football. And as much as we want to play the beautiful game, we are not Brazilians, we are Jamaicans. We need to find our own style, what works for us, move the ball around, use our speed to our advantage because we are very athletic, and try and get some goals. I believe one of the things that hurt us in the first part of the qualification is that we were conceding too many soft goals too early in the competition. And if we were picking up 1 point on those games, then we would probably be in a better situation at this point in time. But we were losing a lot of games and giving up points because we weren't concentrating for 90 minutes and we gave up some goals at the death where we should have really been persevering and playing out the game for 90 plus minutes. But that is just my observation. But that is water under the bridge.
CC, big up yourself. Mr. Price. There's a question and it's on every football fan's lips, thoughts, finger, toe. As them say the reggae boys, they ask this question. Can you justify Javon Watson's selection?
And this is the last.
I can't justify that. I can't justify that because I didn't select him, Mr. Peart. It was actually Mr. Whitmore who selected him. So you'd have to ask Mr. Whitmore why he selected him. I can't answer that question.
Good answer.
I agree.
People, this is not a Tapa show, We're not going full up the show with Tapa,
That's what I was talking about.
All right, I think it's a good way for us to segue into Mr. Nicholson. Everybody is aware that he got his big move to Spartak Moscow over there in the Russian Premier League. I think we should let
one of your son, Mr. Price.
I think we should make coach talk on this first, one of his sons. What do you think about this? The first time hearing it, what do you think about thoughts on this move? Do you think it's a good move? Good move for footballing reasons or a good move for personal reasons? Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think in speaking to Shamar, because I'm still pretty much close with him, it was an opportunity that he couldn't refuse. It was a very lucrative transfer, both for the player and for his club, Sporting Charleroi. It's approximately a 11 million US move for him, that transfer, and he got a lot of benefits, and he'll be feeling very good in his lifestyle going forward with this transfer. One thing I can tell you about Shamar, he loves challenges. He has a fixity of purpose. He has proven that he's a quality goal scorer since he has been a youngster. Playing for Kasafa, he scored a lot of goals for Boys Town at both the under 15 and under 17 level. At 17, he was playing Premier League and scoring many goals. Twice Young Footballer of the Year for the Premier League. Made it into the national team. Scored goals for the national team. Went to the Slovenian Premier League, scored goals. Went to the Belgian Premier League, scored goals. So I don't see any reason why he can't go to the Russian Premier League and score goals again. And it's for him to just go there and adjust, make use of his God-given talent, and do well at Spartak Moscow. And I think it's a very good opportunity for him. I know a lot of people would have wanted him to go somewhere else on the continent, probably in the UK or France or Germany. But a footballer's shelf life is very short. And a massive injury can take place tomorrow and it's all over. So you have to look at the financial opportunities and trust them and choose them wisely. Maybe there's a possibility, maybe 3 or 4 years from now, you can go to one of those other top five clubs in Europe. But at this point, this is the best opportunity for him, and he took it with both hands, and he's going to make the best of it.
Yeah, and I believe he had a year left on his contract, so I think it's a good move to make that jump now. A lot of persons, as I said before, complaining why he didn't go to England. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't think any concrete offers came in from England. So if there's no offer,
there were offers, you know. There were offers, but they weren't as lucrative as what he got from Spartak Moscow. So it's not that there weren't offers. A lot of clubs were checking on him.
You mind sharing some of those clubs?
No, I can't do that now because that is confidential. But a lot of Premier League clubs were checking on him, and a lot of Bundesliga clubs were checking on him.
Well, Mr. Price.
Yeah, I understand checking, but in terms of a offer,
question though.
Put on the table.
No offer. A lot of people don't actually make moves until the window is open. I remember Shamar was under contract. So you must understand the importance that Spartak Moscow made to make a move for Shamar during a window that has not been opened yet to get him to sign early. Exactly. Yeah, no, it was not top up. You know, they saw what they wanted. They came to Charleroi and said, "Look, we want this man," and he did himself a favor by scoring a hat-trick in his last game in front of his suitors. Yes. So you can't ask for anything more. So I believe that he made the right decision, and I will wish him the best.
Yeah, man. Well, CC, want to come in?
My question was, even though I believe that he had suitors in England, the only thing that I was worrying about is thinking that because of the fact that the placement in the UEFA coefficient where the league was positioned, the permit to qualify to play in England, as England is no longer a part of Europe.
EU, yeah.
So that was my thing.
It was a problem because it's similar with Leon. Leon was able to move from
but remember that
the Bundesliga to the Premier League.
The Bundesliga, you get 12 points for playing in the Bundesliga.
But would you consider Spartak Moscow perennial European team? They have always been in the European Championship, whether it's Champions League or Europa Cup.
I'm not.
It's a big club.
It's a good move. Remember, it's the winningest club in Russia. The club with the most titles.
I think 10 titles, I believe.
It's a club with the most titles, man. I think 10 league titles and 22 overall titles. It's the club with the most titles because they won 9 times in 10 seasons.
And they came second last season.
Yeah, and they won, I think, 2016, 2017. But what I was saying is that in order to qualify for the work permit, Brexit
it's not an issue. It's not an issue.
No, all that, Jay Taylor, you're saying that. I'm saying that Leon Bailey's case is different because he played Champions League and Europa League plus Bundesliga, which is basically high on the coefficient rating. So the permit is a non-issue. So what are you saying to me? I'm not knocking the move. I'm asking if if it is that you can qualify for the work permit, not playing certain
Yes, yes, yes. I can tell you straight off, he would qualify for a work permit.
Okay.
Having played in Europe for such a long period of time.
Okay. I just asked because they changed the rule after Brexit.
And understood, but he would have qualified. And like I said, sometimes, you know, even when you're checking a young lady, if she's not into you, you're not going to go with her. But if she's into you, then you might kind of get a little nudge to go with her. And I think Spartak Moscow showed more interest than at the other clubs, and he jumped at the opportunity.
Nice. A few days ago, Eddie and I was on the channel and we were talking about it. And same thing what they said, Mr. Price, I echo the same sentiment. With if an opportunity come, you know, just jump at it and try to play your best football in the best league possible. Eddie and I was talking about going over to the EPL and stuff like that. And I was saying that any club come out, because guess what? Next year don't promise to nobody. You understand?
Nobody.
His farm can dip and then
can pick up an injury.
Pick up an injury and the same. So the same sentiment that you echoed a while ago. Eddie and I was echoing the same sentiment. Check our videos. Couple days back. We're saying the same thing. And we're glad that he take the deal. Very happy for the young man.
Strike the iron while it's hot.
That's what we said.
All right. So my take on that, I understand what you're saying, that players have to strike while the iron is hot and all that. You know, I think sometimes people don't understand the I would say the mental aspect of football. You can be a fit player with a injured with an injured confidence. That's also important. For me, it was living in Europe right now, as you guys know, that basically Russia and Europe is on the brink of war. It's like, I don't think a lot of people understand that. And there's a lot happening around football. Though Europeans tend to know how to keep politics out of football, there's still that thing with Russia. I'm just not big on players going in that region. It's Siberia, all those. It's a tough game down there. And it's Shamar Nicholson. This is a new challenge. I understand he's up for the challenge, and I understand that Newcastle was one of the suitors. Though Newcastle is now one of the richest clubs in the English Premier League, Newcastle could potentially be playing championship football next season. They might get relegated. So I understand that Shamar and his agent probably took that into consideration. But to me, this move is a wait and see, because I think it's a tough region to play football especially with the racism, and you could go down there and your confidence can get hurt in areas like that. You don't want him to have a few bad games, the racism start kicking in, he's not getting enough playing time, and the players start questioning himself. Is he capable? Is he good enough? So I'm also, that's why I think sports psychology it's also important, and it's playing a bigger role in sports now, as you can see even at Manchester United. That's one of the things that the German brought in, was a sports psychologist. Australia, this is not, I know this is cricket, but when Australia wanted to make a change in cricket and to dominate, the first thing they did, they changed cricket by bringing in a sports psychiatrist, because they know it's very important, the mental aspect of a player. You can be a fit player and you can be ready to play, but mentally, if you're not plugged in and there are things affecting you, you can look like an injured player out there as well. So that's just my thing on the fence with this. But as you said, the financial side of it was perfect for the player. We know Jamaican players, we're coming from, a lot of players are coming out of poverty. They want to help their family, and here's the big move, and you have to take it. But for the long run, let's see. It's a wait and see for me.
One thing I can tell you, if I might interject here, you know, coming from Trenchtown, Shamar has a fixity of purpose, and I believe that he has the mental toughness to survive in Russia. As I tell people, racism everywhere in the world. Every one of you that are currently on this YouTube channel has experienced racism sometime in your life, somewhere. in the world. And racism is something that we can't run away from, and it's something that we have to deal with. If somebody wants to throw bananas at you or make monkey noise, all you do is kick the ball in the back of the net. One of the things with Shamar, he's very, very, very focused. And he has a strong personality. And I believe he will do well. And I believe his first professional stint will help him a lot on this journey, because he went to Slovenia, which is an Eastern European country, not too dissimilar from Russia. And he got steeped heavily in their type of culture and happened to be very successful over there. So I see him adjusting pretty well. And all we have to do is just hope for the best.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
And to interject, JT, our finest striker was there in Russia. You understand? Luton Shelton was there in Russia. And he was very successful down in Russia. And we have a couple players, you understand, that played in Russia. Damani Ralph played in Russia. Roberto Scarlett played in Russia.
Errol Stevens.
Errol Stevens is playing in Russia. So don't think that Boza, you understand, Shamar will be the first player that going down there to play.
And there are a lot of Africans and Brazilians. There are a lot of Brazilians and Africans that play in the Russian Premier League.
So don't feel like Shamar is going to be alone. You understand? No, I don't think.
But there's one common denominator, and that's the racism. And as we said before, he has to be strong mentally. So the mental strength have it up, because it's even there.
The racism,
I know it's there, but I'm saying
EPL.
It will be tested. It will be tested down in Russia.
No, but our biggest footballer, England player, Jamaican born, Raheem Sterling, he feels it every day. And he's an English player. And he feels it every day.
Racism is everywhere in the world.
Media do it.
Yeah, man, it's everywhere in the world.
Everybody do it. Even the last World Cup, when England get lick out of it, not the World Cup, the European Cup, when they get lick out of it, they take out all of the black players them. All of the black players them, the man them take out. You understand? They were separating the side.
They single out. Saka.
Rashford and all those guys.
Right, this is what I'm talking about.
Everybody will miss the penalty them. Let me tell you something. Racism is something that we just have to live with and have to work around it. And it's something that is ever present, especially in the game of football across the globe. And we as players just have to deal with it and move on. But gentlemen, I'm going to have to leave you now. I have another interview, because everybody are calling about Shamar. So I have another interview that I have to go to.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Coach Price.
And all the best
thanks for having me, gentlemen. Right? And continue doing the good job.
Yeah, man. Respect. All the best for the season.
All right. Thank you very much.
Next year again. Next year. 2022.
All right. All the best. And season greetings to all your viewers and listeners.
Yeah, man. Respect, sir. So lads, what can Spartak Moscow expect from Shamar Nicholson? What attributes? We're going to start off with JT. What them can expect for the Spartak Moscow fans that because let's be real, not a lot of them will know Shamar. If you check the Twitter account, the club is trying to make the most of this. Jamaican international, he has experience in Slovenia. Top goal scorer in Belgium. So they're really pushing this, they're really selling this striker. So we as Jamaicans, what can we say about Shamar, Boza, Nicholson? What is the club getting? What is Moscow getting, JT?
Well, as they said, they're getting a mentally tough player. But as T got compared some of the other players that played in Russia, none of those players in Russia went down there with the expectation that Shamar Nicholson is going down there with. That's another thing we have to.
So good point. Good point.
He's going out there with, as Mr. Price said, he's an 11 million euro man coming in. You're not here to rub the bench, and you're not here to have 5 games where you're not scoring. So those are the things that you have to keep in mind and take into consideration. They're expecting a striker who's gonna score goals, and probably a striker who's gonna potentially give them a chance to have a deeper run in the Champions League or in Europe. Because I don't think Sparta has much problem winning in Russia. As CC said, they've been dominating Russia. So obviously, I'm thinking they're looking for a player who can help them to make a deeper run in Europe. So the expectation, and as you said again, Eddie, we know the player. The coaches and the scouts know the player, but does the fans know the player? Sometimes when the fans just see on the newspaper article, this player coming in, paid 11 million euros to come in, they don't care. They don't care. They mean 11 million euro equals score every chance you get. And we know Shamar Nicholson at times have problems scoring. We have to be honest. So that's where I'm saying his mental toughness is really gonna be proven in Russia. And if Shamar Nicholson excel in Russia, I think the sky is the limit. But I think Russia will actually be the make or break league for Shamar, with all the things surrounding Russia. And as we touched on the racism thing, we don't want to get hung up on that, because we say Jamaicans, we deal with racism different. When we on a mission, we on a mission. But Russia is a place where racism is accepted. That's another thing. The difference in England is you can complain. In England, there were people prosecuted for the first time in court for racism against football players. That's not happening in Russia. I don't know if you guys know about the Jamaican basketball player that I think he I don't know if they said he got drunk and he was in an accident, and I think he killed someone or something, and he's stuck in prison in Russia, I think, up till this day. Even the judicial system down there, it's a bit different. So everything is Shamar have to just take into consideration, Tigat and Eddie and everybody, all the nuances that come with this. Is not your typical environment where you can look for transparency. Russia is a place where the machine will roll over you. You're just one person. So but I wish him all the best. Great player, but I just hope it's not the Shamar Nicholson that misses a lot of goals, because it won't end very well if that's the case.
Tiga, same question. What Spartak Moscow getting with a Shamar Nicholson? Tell the fans what they're getting.
I hope they get goals, and more goals.
Yeah, I said what they're getting, not hope. What they're getting. What are they getting? You can say a striker score 1 in every 5 chance. You can say that.
Yeah, goals. You understand? They'll be getting a lot of goals. You understand? The fans will getting a lot of goals. And maybe they are looking at the prospect of Luton Shelton was there, and he did well. So they open another Jamaican coming in can do well. You understand? So guess what? Shamar will be going out there scoring, and I know he wants to score. I know he wants to do himself proud. I want to do Jamaican proud. I want to get Jamaica on the map, make other players come in and play right there in that league, so he can have some company. So I think he's going to do his best, and I think he's going to score a lot of goals. You understand? A lot of goals.
CC?
Yeah, I just believe that, all right, watching his career and his progression throughout the Belgium League, I think he's at a point now where he's confident in himself that he can get at least 15 goals a season. And if that's the case, right, I think he's a good enough forward to break 15 goals a season in the Russian Premier League. He's a good enough forward going forward. But I think, as Jay Taylor alluded to, I think they are looking forward to bringing him in to make a push for Europe. A forward who can get them goals in Europe. So if he can get them goals in Europe, I think he will do well. The league on itself, the league by itself, if it is that he's scoring in the league, yes, it's all well and good. But I think what they're trying to focus on is trying to get into Europe. That is why I think they went for him right now, because they're not in a European spot currently in the table. Okay. So I think they're looking forward to getting him so he can score some goals in the January in the other half of the season to score some goals, get them into Europe, and then they take it from there. Because when you're in Europe, you make more money. You have your club can grow a little bit more. So I think that's what they're looking for, the forward to take them to Europe and to score goals in Europe and stay in Europe. So I think it's I'm on the fence with the move, but I
Come on
actually
now. What's the real issue with the move, CC? A lot of persons holding back. What's your issue with the move, really?
my issue with the move is
Just spit it out.
my issue with the move is the location still.
The location. The
Yeah.
location.
No, it's a
I'm
in
tell
a
you.
place we only know about
No, but remember
But see, now look at this. If he was leaving Jamaica and making that move to Russia, it would be a big move, right?
yeah, that'd be a big move. But then again,
It's still a big move, and it's a big league.
It's a big move, It's a big move because, as I said before, I mentioned the UEFA coefficient because Russian Premier League is ranked higher than the Belgium league. Automatically is moving up. You understand?
Yeah.
Right.
So from the get-go, the move on the face of it is a big move. The second part of it is that he gets
Financial.
to the earning aspect of it. So he will be earning far more money playing in the Russian Premier League than he would have been earning at the Belgium league. And I think at this point in his career, a move right now is a good move.
Getting paid.
Yeah, as Adrian is saying, it's a surprise. Nobody expected Russia.
I mean, I'm tell you, nobody expected Russia, but I don't think people should be surprised in terms of the move, because persons were expecting in England. But as I said, I'm still not convinced with certain aspects of moving to England, because I know with Brexit and everything, England is difficult to get into. So it's a different.
It's easy with the Brexit thing. Football, you gotta understand that with the Brexit thing, there are stipulation when it comes to athletes.
No, I'm saying but there's a document. They changed it,
Yeah.
Jay Taylor, in terms of how to qualify to play in England now. But I was saying to you, Leon Bailey is an automatic given because he played for Bayer Leverkusen in the Bundesliga, top 5 in UEFA, plus he played the Champions League and Europa. So automatically at the points, because you have to have a certain amount of points in a 12-month span in order to qualify for the work permit. And the work permit that you get is 3 years work permit, renewable. So that is why I'm saying to you that depending on how that move is, it can make it more complicated. Remember, even this is before Brexit. Remember Tevez move, in terms of Tevez moving into England. So I'm saying to you that
it was through an agent and stuff like that.
I'm saying to you that maybe that was an issue that showed off a move for Shamar to go to England. Maybe I'm just saying, based on the information.
But Coach Price is saying that the clubs are lurking. It's all about the financial. I mean, it's a better package for Shamar to go to Russia.
Might can get around it, but I'm saying that I know Leon case is different because Leon was playing far higher level when he went to the Bundesliga. So he was playing at a level. Remember that a lot of persons are saying that if Jamaica's in the top 50, you have an automatic pass. There's a thing called auto pass. So you basically automatically can qualify for a work permit in the top 50 over a 12-month period prior to you making the move to the league. So that's why a lot of persons are saying that they want players to get Jamaica to be in the top 50 and all these things. But remember that Leon's move wasn't based off playing for Jamaica. It was based off his playing for Bayer Leverkusen. So that was to me my thing. I think that was the issue for him not to go to the league. Well, him can probably come out and say different.
Wait, Leon never get a passport when he was playing in Belgium.
As in
being a youth player.
Naturalized, but I'm saying
because that would help as well in terms of movement.
That's Europe, but England is no longer in Europe in terms of geographically they are in Europe. But I'm saying that organization-wise, they are not in Europe. They are England, and then there's Europe.
Yeah, but there are players every day. There are players, even the Norwegian striker, that they wanted to get in. I understand what CC is saying, but I don't think it's and I don't think
it would be a big factor.
Yeah. And I don't think Leon Bailey has an EU passport as well, because that's another complication with him playing for Jamaica. Because sometimes to get a passport especially in Germany and these countries, you have to denounce your citizenship for the other country. In some of these European countries, so it would I don't think that's an issue. But with as CC was saying, I'm on the line as well.
The reason why though, Jay Taylor, sorry to cut you. The reason why I think he probably end up go Spartak, because if Spartak, the move in Spartak, say he gets to Europe, I think he spent 2 years at Spartak. If he gets into Europe and then he comes to England, if it works out,
if it works out, that's the thing.
So
but
that would be a good route.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's looking at it at the longer road to come around and get into England instead of coming to England right now.
Yeah, and Newcastle.
You think him ready for England?
I mean,
you think Shamar knowing himself, so all right, probably not ready for England yet. Let me just go to Russia, build my name a little bit more, then try to make the move.
Yeah, I think in himself, I think he might mentally. I think in himself he must say, "Yo, I want to give England when I come to England, I want at least come to England and I score 15 goals right off the bat."
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that he's at the place where he's saying that if you're not scoring, remember England is a difficult place, If you're not scoring consistently, unless you're the only striker in the team, like a Mikel Antonio, then you will find yourself in a situation where you fall down the pecking order, end up League 2 or non-league. You will end up dropping down. You understand? So is
non-league, you go.
No, what I mean is just I think at this point he's looking at minor progression in terms of moving from Belgium to Russia.
Baby steps.
Yeah, taking it a step at a time. Because Slovenia to Belgium to Russia. And then who knows, Russia to England, if it is that is the case. But I think it's a healthy move for him right now. It affected other players back then, like the Damari Ralphs and the Errol Stevens and those guys. But then again, that was then, and this is
a different time.
We are not sure how it will affect him now. But let us see. I'm still, as I said, I'm on the fence, and I know he can get you goals. So I'm not worrying about the goals. You understand? It's just that the conditions and him being comfortable in the conditions. Remember them fling a banana upon Daniel Alves. Big Daniel Alves. And a lot of other Brazilians left the league.
Even Eto'o
recently.
Roberto Carlos.
But most of those guys went there after them done do certain things and just went there for the money. So at the end of the day, I just think that it is a good move. Because right now, if you look at it, is the third, it's probably number 3 in terms of baller in the world, right? In Jamaica right now. Because you have Mikel Antonio, Leon Bailey, and now you have Boza in terms of where they play. If you understand what I'm saying.
The highest level.
In terms of where they play, Boza is number 3 right now in the squad.
Mm-hmm.
If you really look at it. Because you can't rank a championship baller over Spartak Moscow. You understand what I say? So it's all on the basis of a good move. Baller to just go score some goals, because I think he's finding his feet, because I saw him play on the wing, cutting in, and I saw him play forward for Shallower. So I think right now he's at the place where he must say, he have the confidence to go out there and get you goals. As I said, he's a player that pops up in the areas that need him to score goals. It's just for him to refine his talent a little bit more, to convert more. You understand? So it's conversion rate. Once it's conversion rate,
needs to be higher.
But then again, if him can take 70 shots, because Cristiano Ronaldo takes 70 shots a game, it's just no must slow down. You understand?
You said 70 shots a game?
Come on, man.
I'm exaggerating, Jay Taylor, but
you're not gonna have so much.
Cristiano Ronaldo takes the most shots in the world.
Yeah, but the 70s are
All right,
it was
all right. Before we're not going to go CR7. Big up Claudia, but good comment, Claudia. But before I touch on Claudia's comment, do you think now that Shamar is over there in Russia, you think people will now be putting a little respect on his name? Because we see these Jamaican fans, they tend to show respect when you're playing in a big league.
nope.
Yes.
So are we going to see an improvement? You know, people showing respect to Igat?
Yeah,
Some
man, they
people
need to
can
put
put some
some
respect
respect.
on
They
from
need, they
Boza
need
name.
to put some respect on him name. Because we have an ex-flicker forward where scores a whole heap of goal in the league where he's at. And them call the league where he's at, Bush League. And him score a whole heap of goal. Bring him team to the final. They're in the final, right, Eddie?
No, man, they lost in the semi-final.
They lost in the well, bring his team to his semi-final. He's
Who
scoring a
is
whole
that
heap of goal.
Tigat? Who is that
Eh?
Tigat? Who is that?
You
My
don't
boy,
know?
let me name again.
Kemal Malcolm, El Salvador.
Malcolm, Tull. You understand?
Oh,
And he's a forward. As long as he has score a goal, to me, it's a good thing. And the man them not put the respect on him name and him a score a whole per goal. Now, Shamar moved to a bigger club now. See me? And if him do well, they need to put respect on him name. They need to put some respect on him name. You understand? That is just my thing. They need to put respect on him name. Put some respect on the man name.
so
Taylor.
with that is I think people have to remember in a Tigat, you have Shamar Nicholson, the club player, and you have Shamar Nicholson that plays for Jamaica.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, so I think we can't. Those are two Shamar. These are two. There's Boza and then there's Shamar Nicholson. Jamaica, we get Boza, which his conversion rate is terrible,
And then get Shamar Nicholson.
and they get Shamar Nicholson, who's tend to be clinical, who is pulling off braces, hat trick in games. I want to take in consideration as well.
JT, we not cut you, but depends on who in the team and how him get feed the ball. You understand?
So that was my next point. I was gonna say
All
to you
right.
that the playing style in Russia is different as well. It's a tough place. It's a scrappy place. I'm not worried about the physicality. Shamar Nichols, I think he enjoys the game being physical. The only problem, one of the things that I'm worried about is and it's minute. It's minute because I think the upside is bigger. Is Russia is also a place where your own team will turn on you when you're not getting goals. And that's what we don't want. We don't want Shamar Nicholson to be dealing with racism overall in Russia, and then from his own team because he's not delivering because they consider him to be the $11 million man. The thing is, maybe it's a good move why he didn't accept because you see in England, you know, they don't care who you be. You can be a $20 million player sitting on the bench. That's England. You will have a coach. You will have a coach come in and think that you're just not a part of his setup. You're not going to be going forward.
And JT Taylor, to go to your point where for Jamaica we get a Boza and the other people them get Shamar Nicholson. So it's true, you know, because if you notice, he don't wear the mask of Jamaica, you know. He only put on the mask when he play for the club.
So he wear the mask. He wear the mask today, man, because he had
the last game. You sure?
No,
yeah, man.
Eddie, stop it, Eddie. Stop
no,
it.
Eddie,
I remember seeing the mask, honestly.
That was Eddie. That was from a fractured, a fractured jaw.
Stop it.
Let us welcome Stan. Stan Cranky, what's
Stan,
up?
big up yourself, Stan. Big up yourself.
Good night. Good night, gentlemen. Good night.
You think it's time for us to start putting some respect on Shamar Boza's Nicholson name?
Well, as a forward, you're scoring goals. If you're scoring goals, you deserve respect, right? I mean,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I still didn't hear you guys articulate, as I mentioned in the comments, what his key attributes are.
Yeah, I saw that. That's what I tell you to Giant.
Doesn't tell anybody anything. If you just say him score goal, I'm a forward. I'm supposed to score goal.
I expected them to say all up player, his heading ability, running off the ball, so on, so on. So I didn't hear none of that.
I think it's
exactly. I mean, if you go say someone as a forward, I tell we say keeper stop the ball from going to goal. Well, yeah, we expect to stop the ball, but what does the keeper bring? Can he play the ball from the back? Right? Does he handle crosses well? So you got to talk about the attributes of the forward. Look, Shamar is improving as we're seeing, and he's going to go step up to a little bit higher level. He's going to get a chance to play in Europe, as JT keeps alluding to. Hopefully, he gets game time. It can only show what you have when you get game time. You need to get game time. And as JT sort of alluded to earlier, there's a lot of Brazilian who plays in Russia, frankly, especially a team like Spartak, because that's how they get to come over. Before it was easier, before Brexit get into the EPL, right? Now you have to get a work permit actually. Unlike when you were in the Euro, you could just go straight in. It doesn't work like that anymore. And in Russia, it's a little bit more trickier. And the racism is real. I think I heard Stevens talking about the racism. That's something you have to deal with. So you got to be able to put things over your ears and make sure you drown out the noise and just focus on the football. Yeah. But there's language barrier, there's the weather, there is race. There's a lot of different challenges you have when you're in Russia that you have to deal with. And hopefully he just goes there for a couple of years, make his name, and move someplace else. That has to be his goal.
But why can't he stay and make a big name for himself in Russia? I understand the point that you know, go there for a couple of years and leave. Can't he be a legend? I'm just asking.
Boza, like Messi being a Messi.
Nobody be a legend over there in Russia. And we don't care about Russian league. We don't care about Russia.
We don't care about Russia.
Russia is a stepping stone to bigger and better things, right? So he gets to move from Belgium to making more money, right? He's going to make more money, get a chance to play more in Europe. Hopefully he becomes much more visible. He's more prominent. He's seen by better teams in higher leagues, which is going to compensate it even more. That has to be his objective.
Yeah, and plus the weather. I tell you, remember football in Russia starts back in February, you know. I think peak
winter.
The move is Bundesliga. Because I think Germany tends to be on the same type of temperature, if you realize that. Because the Bundesliga starts back in February as well.
No. Russia. We're talking about Russia.
Russia is cold, you know.
Russia totally different ballgame.
Different weather.
You never see Germany where ice on the ball.
No, may I tell you, Europe, mainland Europe and Russia, Siberia, those places. Yeah. It's not it's Eskimo. Well, I don't want to use the word Eskimo. I don't think it's politically correct. But that's sled. That's ice. That's where you slide on ice. That's Russia. It's brick.
But JT, you're going. They're gonna play outside where the ice is and stuff like that. You don't think that?
No. Russia.
Still.
T-gut. You see, in Europe it's cold, but you have brick cold in Russia. That Ukraine, Russia, and those places, it's a different kind of cold, my brother. A polar bear type of cold, them there.
Yeah, you can already get that. You get that cold enough. The UK is not that cold. In the UK, sometimes it gets cold.
UK just wet.
Most of the weather is not like New York weather.
New York weather, just right now appear we not going out the door and stuff like that.
Remember in the UK,
but New York weather is not even terrible nowadays. Russia weather is a different type of weather. But he'll have to acclimate, right? He'll have to acclimate. He don't have a choice but to acclimate.
Yeah, but remember saying in the UK, you play right through the Christmas. You play right through
the winter break.
No winter break.
In Russia, you cannot.
It's not that cold in the UK.
You can't play no ball in Russia in January. You can't play
Russia in January is a different type of weather.
You cannot play.
Please explain that. Let them know that.
You know your teeth. You see your teeth going like this. That's your teeth actually. Yeah. You don't have that in New York anymore, and you don't have that in the UK. Russia is a different type of weather.
Which part of base, CC?
Which part of base?
Where there?
Put more.
Oh, in the yard.
You're warm, man.
No, just ask. You have to listen to them, man, especially JT, you know. Yeah, in the Europe, you know, you have to listen to him, you know.
Because I live in the Arctic Circle. Like I'm in Scandinavia. This is closer to Greenland and them place there, which cold. And these people say Russia cold. So if these people say Russia cold, I will listen to them. It's because
this place not in the world right now. So
the thing is this, CC, when you're playing in the cold is sometimes you can't even locate your foot in your shoes. That's the thing. No, may I tell you, you can't locate where your big toe there or your small toe. It's just you just have on a shoes. And but I think Shamar Nicholson playing in Slovenia, I think that equipped him
for experience to that.
Yeah, he's acclimatized to that kind of weather. So
and that move kind of will benefit him going forward. That Slovenia move, especially now, him can draw back on him Slovenia days when I remember fresh out of Jamaica and go Slovenia, showing into that weather. it wasn't easy. And you know, he said that there were many times that he wanted to leave. If you listen to this interview, and him tough it out and him stay. And I think 9 years. We must big up Shamar now. I think this is 9 years since he lost his father, and you know that was very difficult for him. So it's at 9 years today. So again, condolences goes out to Shamar Nicholson.
Yes.
What about the national team? Shamar versus Antonio. Who we got?
We
Could you
got
play
Paul-
both of them?
Really?
I have to ask this question right now. You know.
Right now,
Hold
Boza
on,
may start, you know.
really?
Who we got? Who we got? Who we got?
We have Paul Hall.
Emmanuel
That's true.
Sport may start.
We have Paul Hall. So
Let's
let me just jump in.
Eddie-
Let me
Eddie
just
for
jump
Hall.
in. Let me just jump in on that because Mikel Antonio is coming under scrutiny right now at West Ham as well. They're thinking that he's not. You see,
He's
that's
recovering from COVID, you know.
that's football, you know. That's football, you know. You see when a man paying ticket for going to a stadium, him and you're no friend. Him no business how much goal you score last month. If you're not scoring, you're not scoring. Football fans have short-term memory. You have to remember this. What you did last week, that was last week. It's what you did Saturday, that was Saturday. People want to see
Yeah.
what you're gonna do right now. Shamar Nicholson, to me, I think, as I said, Paul Hall is a gift from heaven for players like Shamar Nicholson. Because you know
Big
what?
up Jason.
I don't think Paul Hall will have Shamar Nicholson on the pitch with a face mask running for 90 minutes and not touching the football. I don't think he would do that. I don't know what the level of loyalty Theodore Whitmore had with Shamar Nicholson, but I don't. He felt like he couldn't substitute Shamar Nicholson, and you saw that in Shamar Nicholson's behavior, where when he got substituted, he was very upset, as he didn't care. I have to say though, with Jamaica, a lot of people overlook this. Shamar Nicholson gives us a lot on the defensive end of the football. If you look at the past 3 games that Shamar Nicholson played, he probably cleared more headers out of the box for Jamaica than our defenders. And I saw that. I saw that he was back there heading football out for our team. Mikel Antonio gives you something else though. I don't think Shamar Nicholson. Well, this move for Shamar Nicholson might just give Paul Hall to feel that Shamar Nicholson is, you know, is a top striker. But
Respect,
Paul
man.
Hall,
The respect, man.
but Paul Hall also had the opportunity to see Shamar Nicholson in 8 games.
In person, yeah.
In person. And how does he feel about that shot? As I said, about Boza, how he felt about
Yeah.
Boza, that's something else. So let's see. For me, my first striker would have to be Mikel Antonio. Shamar Nicholson
Fair
for
enough.
Jamaica is similar to Leon Bailey. They do very well at their club. And I think international football, I think it's 2 different games. I think your fundamentals come into play, but if international football takes another turn as far as performance is concerned.
See, Mikel or Boza?
If I
Or
look
both?
at it, Mikel and Boza suffers from the same suffers the same thing in the national team, right? Mikel scored 2 goals out of his 3 appearances. Boza scored 2 in the campaign as well, out of many more appearances. However, when you look at Boza's 2 goals, can you really pinpoint and say that these were goals that were created by somebody?
Well, no, he got a pass, right? It was a pass.
Mexico goal.
It was a pass, right?
No, that was an error. That was an error from the defender.
The
It
Mexico
was
goal
an error
was
from
an
the
error.
defender.
It was a loose ball. Yeah.
Loose ball.
The Costa Rican goal probably was a pass.
Yeah, the Costa Rican goal was a pass.
Yeah, that
So
was
who would you want on your team picking up crumbs to get a goal? Shamar Nicholson or
Antonio, because
Antonio.
Antonio, both of Antonio's goals weren't goals that you expect a forward to score. You don't
Crumbs.
expect that. Those are goals that you get them, they're special. Those are not expected goals. Those not, as I put it, the expected goal formula doesn't take into consideration those 2 opportunities that Mikel Antonio scores. So on the back of those 2 goals that Mikel scored, I would say Mikel Antonio. However, we have a viable striker in Boza. So at the end of the day, because when I watch Boza, to me, if Boza gets the opportunity, Boza is good for a goal every game that he plays. He might not score it, but when you look at him and him out there in the field, he's good for a goal in a game. That is why I think Tapa tends to want to play him for the 90 minutes and not sub him, because he's more confident of him getting him a goal than the other strikers he had at his disposal prior to getting a Mikel Antonio. If you understand what I'm saying. So prior to Mikel Antonio, Boza looked like the striker that can get you a goal out of any of the other strikers. Because if you ever check his record, I think he scored 10 goals or so, but he's normally the one that
10 goals.
Can get you a goal. But I would say Mikel, but I'm of the opinion that both of them can play together. That's just my opinion. Because I've seen Boza play with a striker at Chalarai. I've seen him not play centre forward.
So you would put one on the wing, or play them as a two?
I would play both of them. But I'm not the coach, so the coach has to decide that. But I think both of them can play together, can coexist on the pitch.
I think it's risky playing Shamar.
No, I don't
because he's a
together,
what I'm saying is
a sub 1-for-1.
Shamar Nicholson is also quite selfish in front of goal.
Yeah,
he's gonna. That's one of my problems with Shamar.
Mikel is not selfish.
No, but it doesn't balance, because that's what you want. You don't want a player who should pass.
It's not a bad thing for a striker to be selfish.
I'm not saying start both of them, you know. I think start Antonio, but I don't think you should sub Antonio for Boza.
Okay, that's interesting. For me, Boza is the third striker in the team. Andre Gray is up the pecking order for me as far as what
I think, let me tell you, I actually think Boza, because Boza has goals in the World Cup qualifiers. Maybe Andre Gray doesn't have the amount of opportunities, but Boza have the goals.
Andre Gray don't have any minutes. You can't score if you're not on the park.
Are in the squad.
In the squad.
But I mean, that's true still, but those are the goals right now. So, but I don't think you sub. I think if you're subbing Mikel Antonio, you sub on Gray. But don't sub Antonio for Boza. I think when you're subbing out a player, you put on Boza. If you're subbing Antonio now, you're subbing Andre Gray. That's just my opinion.
I think you sub the player who's not giving you what you're looking for.
Yeah, that's what I was just.
No.
Yeah, suppose him not play good. Suppose him not play good, CC.
No, I'm saying in terms of taking off a striker.
Yeah,
and bringing on a striker.
So but it could be horrible. It could be horrible for 60 minutes, and you're still going to take him off, you know.
You take him off the park, CC. I don't think that's the way you approach the game, and it depends on how the coach wants to set up. What Paul Hall, to me, playing too heavy striker like because Boza, to me, he got much slower. When I watched Boza interview, and he said when he came on, he had that hunger against the United States. That's the Boza that I really liked. After he came back in the national setup, after that game, I don't know, he looked slower. He looked much heavier. He doesn't look like that same agile player that I saw on the first go around. But I'm thinking maybe that's the way he adjusted his game in Belgium. If he slowed his game down, I don't know. The question, maybe it's getting him more goals. But for me, I would never start a Mikel Antonio and Shamar Nicholson. I think that's a recipe for disaster, especially if you're going to plan to play pressing football.
Stan.
So I find it interesting how your stature increased significantly, how your profile increased. Square off, you go in the Belgian league, you get a good contract, and all of a sudden we're comparing Boza to Antonio and saying, it's amazing how that works, actually. It's amazing how that works. Antonio, look, Boza obviously is playing well in Belgium. But I'm always telling people, look at the level of the competition. We'll see how he does when he goes to Russia. And if he gets a better move, we'll see how real he is. I've seen Boza up close and personal. Watching for a few games, up close and personal. Good player. And I think people like Bala Kerr think he's God's gift to strikers. He's a good player, but if I look at the key attributes that informs a striker's ability, he's lacking in a few very good areas. Now Russia sees something in him, or Spartak, Moscow sees something in him. Hopefully materialize. Hopefully games continue to improve. But when we're doing comparison, there is Roof, there is Gray, there is Bowser, and there's Antonio. I don't know where Boza actually fit into that mix. I know he's not in Antonio's class. He's just not. Antonio has deficiencies in his game, by the way. Quite a bit in his game. But his overall game is better than Boza. I'll probably compare Boza with more Roof and with Gray than I do with Antonio, given where they are, frankly. And I actually think that Roof is a more complete player than Boza is. Look at Roof's overall game.
I agree.
The whole of a play, beat a man, make a pass, read the game. I think he's an overall player. I know you guys talk about Gray and Boza, but Boza is young. He's still young in terms of where he is in his career. He's not 26, 27, he's about 24. So he still has time on his side, and hopefully he'll go into an environment where he continues to improve. He can adapt to the challenging environment he's going in and plays well. We want him to be successful. I know sometimes you call out people's game and you call out deficiencies in their game, you think you don't want them to be successful. That's not the case. You're just giving them the eye test and sometimes the stats test. So my hope is that he does really well, but Boza or Antonio, I don't think there's a choice there.
Stan, another three strikers at you. Fuller, Shelton, Marlon King.
Why, you want to pick one of the three?
No, I'm saying that would someday Shelton versus a Fuller, Ricardo Fuller.
Different type of players. Fuller was a very skillful player, right? Very, very skillful player, can create his own goal, but he wasn't a prolific goal scorer. Shelton was a better goal scorer.
Was a prolific goal scorer in terms of the national team.
In terms of just being prolific, he wasn't. Yeah. he wasn't prolific.
He didn't score a bag of goal for store.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of who played at the higher level.
Yeah, but I keep telling people the Premier League is a different. Look, guys, the Premier League is a different level. The game is 100 miles an hour. The game is physical. The game requires God. It's just a different league. It's not like La Liga. It's not an Italian league. That's why all the best players are going there. Because it takes a certain amount of skill set to do really well there. La Liga is slow, more technical. Italian league is a mixture of a bunch of different stuff. Bundesliga, all those leagues are not. The Premier League is keep moving away, further and further away from the rest of Europe.
That's what I was saying.
That's where the money is. That's where the best players go, and it's going to keep moving further and further away because it's not changing anytime soon.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying.
I would love Boza to get to the Premier League. I would love for him to get there and perform well there to really show his ability. But there's a bunch of players who have gone there. Look at what's his name from Ajax, who was there. He's now the top goal scorer in Champions League history. Failed at West Ham. It's a very unforgiving league.
Yeah, talk. What name Hala?
Yeah.
Oh,
he got Boza and Mikel Antonio. Who are you starting against Mexico? Are you starting both of them?
As I said before in previous video, I would love to see both of them start. I know JT say recipe for disaster, but T got opinion. I would like to see both of them start. And Stan, you were saying a while ago, when the beginning of your conversation, you were saying that Boza's stock went up because he get the transfer. I put it in just simple term. If you finish your masters, you have your degree or your associates, and you finish you get your masters, your stock is going to raise, don't it?
Yes, it will raise. But you haven't done anything yet.
So him go to a higher ball club. So him stock is going to raise. People are going to want to see him now. You understand?
But
that's just my thing.
You want to have seen him in the quarterfinals, right?
Yeah.
We saw him with our own eyes. We didn't need to see the Belgian league. We don't need to see Moscow, but we saw him with our two eyes.
No. Yeah, so as a JT said before, no. You have
we're not the Russians, you know. We know him, you know. We're not the Russians. We know him.
Hold on, no. But you have some ballers. But hold on, no. But you have some ballers that perform good for the club. That or they perform with or they perform with the country, with their country. You understand?
And vice versa.
And vice versa. Yeah. And vice versa. You understand? The players that are around him, all him get him service. You understand? All the coach tell him to move. Different coaching techniques. You understand? Because remember, when some of the ballers leave from different clubs to come here, them have to adjust their playing style. Also, the coach
Jamaica's biggest problem actually is Jamaica's biggest problem, as I said in our previous program, is two things. One is We don't have midfielders to give our forwards the ball.
Right.
And our wingers have not played well. So
Right.
therefore, your center forwards are either starved for service, they don't get put in on goal, they don't get put in good positions to score goals. So it makes it difficult for them. But we have seen Boza though. So here's the difference, Tiga. We saw Antonio score goals by himself. No help, zero help. I've never seen Boza score a goal by himself.
Yeah, man, he did
that.
Against United.
Remember that big goal in the Gold Cup. That goal in the Gold Cup.
Against United States, in Cranky when he came on and scored the winner.
I don't remember that actually.
Yeah, it was a moment of brilliance. It was a friendly.
This campaign or previous campaign?
No, it was a friendly. It's a friendly. A few years ago when he came on, he came on with. That's why I was saying that.
Agent said he has scored brilliant goal. He has scored brilliant goal. So he has scored brilliant goal. So
we talking about the national team, guys. We talking about the national team.
Yeah, but I'm saying. Huh?
We're talking about. I didn't talk about Antonio's history of scoring goals. I'm talking about the World Cup qualifiers and the Gold Cup.
Yeah, but I'm saying he has scored.
Way back when, as you know, doesn't count for us.
What I'm saying, Stan, hear what I'm saying. He has scored goal. You understand? Peaches of goal and classes of goal. But just say it's just how the coach operate, because the coach have certain players will play forward or central midfield in their club, and him have them playing wing back, or him have them play different places all over the globe. You understand? And then we as a fan want them to perform, and they're not playing the proper position that what they're playing in our club. So there's another problem there.
Yeah, but Tiga, he's played 8 games since August for Jamaica, right? 7 or 8 games since August. Right? He scored probably 3 goals, I think it is. And he's missed some sitters. I watch him in Orlando missing goals, which every forward missed sitters, I guess, actually. I'm not saying he's not a good player, you know. The point I'm making, we're doing a comparison between him and the other forwards. And the point I'm making is I don't see him better than Antonio. And I'm not sure they're even pretty close right now. I see him more the Roof and Gray comparison. And look, hopefully prove us all wrong. Prove me wrong, frankly.
Bala kill standing.
Yeah.
At you.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Look, I use the eye test a lot. I sometimes even disregard the stats, and I watch Boza up close and personal. There's nothing like watching somebody not too far from you playing football. How they control the ball, how they move up the ball, how they pass, how they create space for themselves. There's nothing on TV. It doesn't give you the full picture. I'm telling you. When you're on TV, you see what the camera shows you, and it looks easy actually when on TV. It's not that easy, as you guys know. When you're up close and personal, it's not that easy when you look at it. He's a good player, but is he Antonio?
As for me, Eddie, I would love to see the squad start. Both of them, you understand, up front, because they are 2 proven goal scorer. I don't know how it's gonna work, but I would love to see it.
But at the end of the day, you know, Paul Hall has said that he wants to play a pressing game.
Right.
Can we play those 2 in that system?
It's not gonna. If you look at Manchester United,
Jamaica is not a pressing team. Jamaica is not a pressing team.
But he wants us to become a pressing team.
I don't care what he wants. I don't care what he wants.
I don't know if that's possible right now.
Check this out, Eddie.
Stan, why are you going to answer the question? But I know you're going to answer the question, but we just want to answer the question. Why is it Jamaica is not a pressing team? Or why Jamaica cannot become a pressing team? Why?
So first of all, there are a couple of things to be pressing team. First of all, you got to be fit, right? And second of all, pressing teams rest on offense. I'm not sure if you guys realize that. Pressing team rest on offense. They don't rest on defense. They rest on offense. And you have to keep the ball to rest on offense. So how you going to rest on offense when we can't keep the ball? You're going to burn out in no time. But the pressing team, the real good pressing teams. Liverpool, Man City, some Chelsea periodically, right? How many pressing teams do you know in the world where it works continuously throughout a game? you have to rest at some point in the game. They can rest on offense because you can't get the ball off them. When you have it, they're ganging you.
Yeah, man,
Jamaica can't keep the ball. So we're going to press and we can't get the ball. And then when we can't keep it. We're going to be pressing all game. How does that work?
Yeah. Prime Boza was the best at pressing. 90 minutes.
Barca was, but Barca, you can't get the ball off Barca, Booner. You can't get the ball off Barca, so they can rest on offense. Yeah. When are you going to rest at Jamaica? When are you going to rest?
This is why I'm saying, Stan, that it's gonna be so important, the combination of players that's on the pitch for Paul Hall. It takes a specific type of player to implement what Paul Hall wants to do. Because even if you look at Manchester United right now, the German wants to play a pressing style. You saw he brought in his assistant. He brought in an assistant who they said he's the king of press. They said this guy, when he worked with him at Red Bull, he was the king of press. But Cristiano Ronaldo, for me, doesn't work in that system. I don't think Cristiano Ronaldo is going to give you that. So this is a similar thing that I'm looking at with Shamar Nicholson. Mikel Antonio can give you that because Mikel Antonio is a workhorse. If you look at it for West Ham, he's constantly working. I think starting a Shamar Nicholson, and this is another thing. If a player doesn't have the history of playing in a certain system, you have to be able to understand the press too, Eddie. The press is not just run down the ball and just go take it.
You have to know when to press, press in groups, set traps.
And I noticed that the English players were getting very frustrated with our local players when they close down a player and the Jamaican player back off because the Jamaican player didn't have the insight to realize
one man can't press.
Yeah, I'm pressing. I need you to close out that window or basically zone mark. So I haven't seen Shamar showed me anything to say he's a striker who's gonna be. To me, Shamar is that heavy, gritty striker where you get him the football in clogged up areas and he gives you something different, or he shows up in areas where the football he's right on time. But I don't see him as a player that I would implement in a Paul Hall potential system. I think Paul Hall, a Kemar Roof would more fit what Paul Hall wants to do. He's more lighter as a striker, adding him with a Mikel Antonio up front, but having those two heavy strikers up front to press, I don't see that working.
I'll give my press a close and my press not for press.
Stan, my question to you. Because it was me and Stan having. Stan, my question to you. So what type of football do you see Jamaica playing? The same long football kick over?
Jamaica needs some players. You guys don't seem to realize that. The players we have today cannot keep the ball. Like we keep making this thing, you know what, we're going to keep the ball. It's Whitmore force, we're going to keep the ball. No, it's not Whitmore. When a player pressure low, his next step, you know what, I can't pass. First of all, there's no midfielder present himself to get the ball. So if I can see a pass, I got to dump it. Y'all learn that in football. You dump it and you start over. Abbas Paul, when I watch him in Orlando, Abbas couldn't run more than 30 minutes and he's tired, he's dying. We are so deficient in terms of, first of all, you have to be fit to play a pressing game. Secondly, to me, you have to be able to keep the ball to play a pressing game. But when you get it, you have to be able to keep it. So you can give yourself a breather. You can move the other team around. You can get them tired also. So I do think he's going to try to press, but I'm telling you, watch how it evolves. Now, a lot of players who play for Jamaica play MLS. They play in the US. They don't play in an environment where they have to press. They play a more slow walking game. So therefore, they got to improve. They have time to improve your stamina. But the time to implement is pressing game. Because pressing is not just run on people, you know. You got to press as a team. You got to make sure you cut off all the angles. You got to make sure you structure your press in such a way in which, you know what, you cave in on the opposition. So they have to dump it or you can win the ball off them. It's not just kicking the ball down. You all run to the ball and then you out of play. Because here's the thing which is interesting about pressing. Look at a team that can withstand press. You see how Man City play? They play their two wingers and their two wing backs wide, so they spread the field out. And then they can, when they get the ball, like a Silva, they can beat a man and create space. Or De Bruyne, they can turn on half turn and beat a man, so they put you under pressure. That's why most teams play them in the low block, because if you press them, they wanted to press them, so they can get behind you.
You see, Stan, as I talked about it, that is the reason why I said from the get-go, say, in order for we win the next something matches, even if a person want hang up on formation, we have to play like 3-4-3 because at the end of the day, going forward, we need the two players out wide that's going to stretch and expand the pitch. So we have 5 in attack.
No, JT. We need to replace Haka. We need to replace Grant.
That's CC. That's CC.
I'm telling you. No, Grant and Haka has to go. I know people think that Grant can play football, but he has no legs. Our two midfielders are about 80 years old. They can't run anymore.
No, man, we can still use Grant, man. Come on, that's a little bit harsh.
Grant has
that's a little bit harsh.
Go now. Grant has to go. Grant has to go.
It depends on the formation.
Cataract, I admit that to you. If you get Louis Baker, Grant is gone. If I get Stewart, if I get Baker,
well, if we get a good replacement, you know.
Yeah, but as it
is now.
What did I think I heard the president stating? It seems as if we'll be getting an additional player by the Mexico game.
Oh, we need wingers and we need midfielders. We need two.
When I see it, I believe it. And I see it. When I say that, I will believe it.
I'm trying to wonder if that is what he was alluding to because he's talking as if the documents are in the hand.
You're CC, you really trust this president when it comes to documents?
I want to see that first.
No, Speed did say on coach's desk that we need wingers and we need midfielders, which I agree with. But I said it before. He said
not Speed, I'm saying the president.
The president. He's saying the president.
No, I said Speed said it was on coach's desk that we need wingers and we need midfielders.
Oh, yeah.
So Stan and everybody they said, you see this comment said Jay Taylor doesn't like local.
That's why I leave it up in I leave it for you to answer.
So Eddie, that tells me that this is someone who doesn't listen to me very well. If they know that JT is one of the huge advocates for local players, but not just any local players. I'm just a person who tell you how I see it. I'm the person who called for Busy Atkinson to be in the team. I said, if you're gonna have a Junior Fleming and a Lamar Walker, why not have a young talent like a Busy Atkinson who is yet to prove himself? And he's a rough diamond, and players like that sometimes can give you a moment of brilliance. People are gonna say, well, Junior Fleming is gonna go to France. Yeah, there's a lot of players moving around, but we're talking about international football. And I said, Junior Fleming's, he makes the right decision at the wrong time. He's good at that. He knows when to. He doesn't know when to pass, and he doesn't know when to shoot. I'm a huge advocate
for local
players. Yeah,
French player, no.
Yeah,
put some respect.
But you see this again, Eddie. I'm the one who was boosting up Junior Fleming in the Gold Cup because I said he's a good Gold Cup player. I said he performs for Jamaica very well in the Gold Cup. So people have to really listen to my past shows to know my track record. I'm not against local players, guys. I'm the one who said that if an English player is coming in and there's a Jamaican player, even if he's playing at a lower club, who gives you the same thing and can compete for that position, the local player should get the spot. I just want to see the best 11 out there. And if right now, based on what we have, most of the best players we have right now is out of England. We don't have a lot of great local players in the setup right now. So people have to just evaluate where we are and not just use it as a general.
So I agree with Claudia's comment. And we still need another CM. We need another CM.
In a high press, Grant is a no. Plus, we need Jamalo, Damari Gray, and Louis Baker in the squad.
If we get
Baker was supposed to play the Chelsea the other day, but he got COVID. So
if we get Damari Gray right now, I see, I have confidence. If we get Damari Gray, I'm not even really think about getting. I'm not busy about the central.
Jamaican people can't satisfy.
Exciting days.
Kemar Grace right now is Leo Messi for me.
We can't satisfy. I heard when we get Kemar Roof, when we get Mikel Antonio. Not from you, CC. Overall, from the fans.
No, but if he can come and hit the ground running like Antonio, win business.
And the form that I see him at Everton, Lionel Messi, Demar Gray is for me for Jamaica. Leo Messi. Because I saw Leo Messi take Argentina.
That's CC speaking, Stan. That's CC.
Let me put down the names.
Yeah.
So you can say.
Yeah.
No. I was responding to JT.
So the names them now.
No. I was responding to JT, not to CC.
I get them mixed up.
The point I'm trying to make is this, which is we didn't recruit players in some of the right places we need to recruit them, right? We recruit Gray, we recruit Antonio and Roof. They are center forwards. We need midfielders. We need to go source midfielders.
Yeah, we top heavy. We top heavy.
That is true. That is true.
Giving the ball.
Top.
We can't play all of them one time. So good point. Good point.
We top heavy. We top heavy Stan when we not have no middle.
Yeah,
they need Stan. I agree with you. Stan, I agree with you 150%. They need to go get some ball handlers, some midfielders. They need to get.
Listen, when I said
one center half. There's one center half and some midfielders.
All I'm saying is, if Demar Gray comes on the form that he's at Everton, if he come and play for Jamaica and the form that he's at Everton, me no care when the man wants to me there on the video platform saying that it will be Demar Lionel Gray. Yeah.
No. So, CC, you have to be more realistic when it comes to international football. I keep saying, I tell people you have to tame your expectation of players when they come into, especially CONCACAF and international football. It's way more scrappy. The football is a stop and go game. A lot more fouls. It's the surfaces are different. It's just you're coming into a team that's not gelling. You have to take all these things into consideration. So I understand you gotta understand this, CC. When you're playing in a team like a Chelsea, if you're a good player, you're gonna look good because you have good players around you, anticipating your runs. Imagine a Demar Gray bombing down the flank. And he doesn't have a midfielder who has the vision to open the game and give him the football.
And the ball with the hacker.
He just burned. He's just gonna burn out. So you have to take these things into consideration. So
let me just say this though, more than JT, which is the thing about Gray, which I like, because I've been watching Gray for a long time, from West Brom to Leicester, now going to Bundesliga and come back. He's a very well-rounded player, right? Which is what you want in a player, right? He can go back and help defensively, even though he doesn't have to do that as much for Everton because he's playing in a 2 up front. He actually can make a pass. He can get by a man, and he can put the ball in the net. When you get a well-rounded player, it helps you be able to build relationships and build combinations with Antonio or with Taxi playing on the left, right? Depends on where he plays, but it depends on where Bailey's going to play, if Bailey's available. So I do think now what you have to do is go out and get the midfielders to supply the ball to Bailey, to Gray, and to Antonio. We need 2 CMs. Or you have, the maestro playing in the number 10 and get him the ball to feed him the ball. But we had the opportunity to do this much earlier in the campaign. It's sort of sad. That's where now we're trying to think about this. This could have been done a way long time ago. I know there was all this pushback around too many English-born players and all that nonsense. We're trying to get to the World Cup. Now people are seeing the light. It may be a little bit late, but we should still try and source those players and try to get them to come in. Now, here people arguing about should he start if he comes. Like, which winger is playing well to play over him? I don't understand the
that's the issue, you understand, that I have with a lot of persons. Talk about should a man start as if Demar Gray comes to play for Jamaica. On what basis in first game we can put him on the bench? On what basis?
It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer.
Maybe on the topper, he wouldn't start. But on the Paul Hall, we expect him to start.
No, I'm saying Eddie. The thing is, when I say this, there are people ref about. All right, start all of them. I'm not saying start all of them, but Demar Gray. And what?
When you have certain players in certain positions, you have to play them. You don't make sense to carry them and you not play them.
There's no way.
Well, I think Paul Hall talked about featuring Bailey, right? Then Paul talked about featuring Bailey.
Yeah,
exactly.
Getting Bailey the football more.
It can't be the Bailey we see playing for Jamaica. It must be the Bailey playing for Aston Villa. Or playing the Bundesliga. It can't be this Leverkusen. It can't be this Bailey because this Bailey's
a different Bailey is a massive.
We need to call the players that perform well at their club by their real name for their club and their aliases for Jamaica, because I think that's what we get. We don't get
Chippy. We get Chippy.
Yeah, we get Chippy for Jamaica. We get Boza. We don't get Shamar Nicholson. We don't get Leon.
We get Dex Adapts. When I get Bobby Reid, we get Dex Adapts.
Like Bobby Reid should be. Look, I don't want to knock players, but Bobby Reid hasn't played well enough to deserve to start in any game going forward.
Stan,
I don't care how he's played for Fulham. He hasn't played well enough to start.
Stan, in the Gold Cup, I got so much slack for saying that. For me, Bobby Reid is a player should be coming off the bench on the hour mark. That's just, I don't see Bobby Reed as a full-out
Eddie,
striker.
put up this comment.
I don't see Bobby Reed as this player.
Which one?
I think people watch the
Well, Kemar Roof. Second, the way down.
people tend to watch these leagues on the weekends, and then they're expecting that this is the player that they see. Even Michael Hector, the Michael Hector that plays for Fulham is not the Michael Hector that plays for Jamaica. Michael Hector can be having the best season for Fulham, and he comes in for Jamaica and he makes the simplest mistakes. So it's I don't know. I don't know where the breakdown is.
Yeah. So this comment is saying, before you play, you have to know everyone's style of play. But you have many players that come in, and you don't know Adam, this man from East or West, and just hit the ground running. I'm not saying that that's always going to be the case now, but it happens. So we can't really pinpoint and just put down and say you have to know everyone's style of play. Sometimes we can say that when you're in a league setting and you got pre-season or you get camps or you train more often. But a lot of times in international ball game, especially for Jamaica, a lot of times it's not like you're going to come into a system where everybody's going to know everybody's playing style in order to prosper. So I am not sure if that is for me something that should be a recipe for success.
I hear the point from Lloyd, but I think at the end of the day, when you have good footballers, football is football. Them always say the language barrier don't really make a difference. Football is football. So
that's
you
a
might
dangerous speech, Eddie.
No man, you might can when you have talented players together, they can pull off things. I'm not saying that you don't need the chemistry. In the long term, you will definitely need the chemistry for prolonged good results. But in terms of a one-off, you can get that right off the bat.
When I put Zlatan in our team, you know what they call Zlatan plug and play.
No. Right now, Zlatan in Sweden right now is being a big problem for the team.
No, Zlatan like 40 now, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a different thing now.
But if it goes back to the point where Eddie said football is football, it should work.
It's probably not when you're 40.
In prime, man. In prime. Prime Zlatan is a different ball game.
All right, lads, before we close off, there was another big move. I don't know if you want to call it big, but Kevin Lambert renewing his contract. That was news this week as well. So he's staying over there in the USL with Phoenix Rising FC. Another 2-year multi-year deal. Big announcement on Twitter by Phoenix Rising. What do you guys think about that? Good move for him to stay in the USL. He's what now 24, I believe. Should he have stayed in the US?
So he transferred.
He was out of contract. No man, he was out of contract for Phoenix Rising, and they renewed the contract.
I'm just saying he transferred from Phoenix Rising to Phoenix Rising.
To Phoenix Rising, right?
Yeah, in the USL, basically.
Good move for him to stay here. You think he should have probably look outwards,
No,
it's just 2 more. Still don't like the USL.
It's 2 more years.
If you're wanted,
It's 2 more years in the Graveyard League. 2 more years in the Graveyard League for Kevin Lambert. One of Kevin Lambert's best game for Jamaica, as I said, is that same game against the United States where Boza came on and scored that amazing goal. Kevin Lambert played a flawless game at CDM. That was a talent. But he started to get exposed as we went on, especially in the Saudi Arabia that set a friendly. He got exposed. He's very slow tracking back. He doesn't read the game very well. He was getting pushed off the ball by even smaller players. Kevin Lambert is 6 feet something, and I saw Kevin Lambert getting dominated by players this small, way lighter than him. 6'3". Yeah, and I was thinking, like, if you're a player like that, you're supposed to dominate players in the middle of the park. So for me, I think Kevin Lambert has to work on this. His speed. His vision of the game. For me, most important, his speed tracking back, and he has to be more physical. With that height and size, you can't get pushed off the ball by a Tyreek McGee, players like that. So I think Kevin Lambert is just a gentle giant. He has to get more aggressive. He has to call Damian Lowe and say, Damian Lowe, teach me how to be a walking red card.
But JT, to be fair though, he's been the best defensive midfielder in USL. The numbers are there. Duels one, tackles one, all of that is there for him. So he's dominated at that level. He's dominating the USL level. That's
So
why I
Boomer,
asked him, should he leave?
Yeah, why is he moved up to the MLS if he's dominated the US?
That's the question. That's what I want to ask. Was it a good move to stay in the USL?
No, that's
You know,
what
sometimes
elsewhere.
if you're look, sometimes if you're comfortable, things are working out for you and your family, and you're in a good environment. The coach likes you, the coach plays you. You may decide it's the best place for you. My only concern for those players is, and I hope much more players get contracts. I hope they're investing their money, they're saving their money, they're investing their money, and they're making sure that when they leave football, they're okay. That's what I mean. No, because sometimes you're in the sport, and you think it's going to last forever. You're 24, and you turn around, you're 30, and then your career is over. Because think about it. When you play sports, you know, unless you're very, very good, make a lot of money, you're sacrificing your career, you know, in some other discipline. Because you and I could be a lawyer, an accountant, and our first 10 years of the 30, we're practicing our craft. We get more experience, we get better. They got to start from scratch when they finish. So unless they go do something else, they're starting out as a deficit. So hopefully you're making enough money, you can invest that money and generate income for you and your family. Because if that, and even then, I'm not sure how much USL players are getting paid. Are they getting paid a lot of money?
Remember, the highest paid, I think, USL players at 70,000 US. Basically, the lowest, they are the lowest paid MLS.
That's not a lot of money.
So
I mean, here it's a working class salary. It's not middle class, it's working class. So
you have to be basically the top baller in
that's before taxes, by the way.
Yeah, big up Brandon. Hold on, big up Brandon. You know, I did say he's the best defensive midfielder in the league. That's why I'm aware of that. The question was just asked, you know, in terms of do we think he deserves better? I think, you know, better is out there, but at the end of the day, you know, if there are no offers coming in, as CC rightly said, if there are no offers coming in, because at the end of the day, we want the best for the players, and you know, and their career. So T-Gat.
But T-Gat, before you go, Brandon Sylvie, you're so right about that. I would love to have that amount of free time to sit and watch the USL games. I don't know where I would get all that time to sit and watch USL football, where there's nobody in the stadium. It's 0 miles an hour. It's just over and over. There's nothing exciting about the USL. When he gets to the next level, I will start watching him.
Where will you have time to fit in? You have La Liga, you have Bundesliga, you have EPL. Now we have to watch Russian Premier League
and USL.
You understand? Why me go have USL and the radar? Now me go watch French League 2 and a League 1 alone me used to watch. Whenever you really care about
which station the USL come on?
I don't even know. I'm not disrespecting it, you know. But I don't know. I haven't really watched it. I've never watched a USL game.
I've
saw. What do you call it now? I think because Mataxon I saw Birmingham Legion, but it's YouTube. Basically, I've got search for it, so I'm not even sure. So sometimes it's because the eyes are not going to watch that league. But I think it's a good move in terms of what Stan is saying. If you're comfortable and you can earn some money, all you need to do as a player, try invest that money, because we all know you have the Mike Tysons and a lot of other sports persons in the world that you see makes a lot of money, and then in the longer run, certain things never work out.
But of course, yeah, YouTube it come back.
Yeah, but I just think it's a good move. It's a good move to stay there right now, but it needs to trying to make some buzz. So even if you have a nudge agent, make an agent spread little rumor, little gossip around there, here and there, whispering at two people here if you know say
because the talent is there now.
Yes,
and as Stan rightly said, if he's dominating USL, why him not reach a MLS?
Yeah, the agent, maybe he needs to change agents.
Yeah, because you know we want the best for the players, and we don't think the USL at this time is, in terms of quality wise, is where Kevin Lambert should be. I don't know if we, probably thinking too highly of him, but I don't think that's where it should be. T-Gat, you agree?
Starting rightly said, maybe he's comfortable. And I believe that and just don't want to move up or his best football is the USL. So
Is
we
that a
would
knock
love
on
to
the
see a
player?
lot of ballers
By the
move.
way, guys, Phoenix is warm. It's not Russia.
Yeah, that's that.
So add the
So
weather too. Add the weather. Good
yeah,
weather.
It's
so
warm all year round. It's not
if
freezing.
his family is there and they are comfortable, you understand, and they're I say, yo, this is the best spot right now. Take it. Maybe he got offers, but it's not paying him as much as he wanted. And so some ballers now they are looking about financial gain. It's not like one time where they say, all right, I'm gonna take look like nothing. Play for a big team, get $0 and then
No,
hope
but
for
if
the
a team
best.
will come in, they will offer him more than what he's earning at
But
Phoenix.
remember,
Yeah,
if the league dictates still not Eddie. Remember that MLS dictates how certain players come in the league in terms of
Yeah,
is
that
for
too.
example, MLS trades players. It's not the club that trades players, right? So and the club sign players, but then again you have to look at it. Even what Brian Martin said in terms of international. If there's a slot for an international player, MLS is going for a South American player. If they can't get a player from Europe, that's like little out of their prime, they're going for a South American player. So for a Jamaican player to get into MLS, they basically have to be a citizen or a green card holder, a resident. They have to be a resident.
Why
So
is
they
Yeah,
Alvas Powell? So how is Alvas Powell
because of the spots.
getting a
Because of the
contract?
spots. Now,
no, it's
Alvas, I think
remember that
Alvas,
Alvas
he
Powell,
married,
Alvas,
He married, I think he
Oh,
no,
married to
okay.
American.
Oh, he married.
but
He
plus,
married.
but plus, Alvas Powell did well early on in his career when
Yeah,
he went to
so
the under 17 World Cup and all those things. It's no Alvas Powell look roxy. Early on, he did well enough to be in the MLS, and
Blake get decent money. Someone saying Blake gets decent money.
no man,
Not
Blake does get
exceptional
over
money.
600K.
He's making 600K.
He's making,
and,
he's,
and, and,
yeah,
and he was the MVP for Philadelphia
I
Union
make,
in the past season.
I make money, man. And maybe where he lives, he doesn't have to pay a certain amount of taxes. But as I said, the players, the MLS is a different type of league in terms of clubs don't really have the autonomy like
Yeah,
some
yeah.
leagues. You understand? So clubs have the autonomy to buy and sell players. However, they can't use up certain
It's difficult for
spaces.
foreigners. It's difficult
Yes,
for foreigners.
because they want more like South Americans and Central American type of players in the league if they can't get like the
Well,
European type of players.
I read something this week where it says that the MLS is trying to make sure they don't make the same mistake that the league before the MLS made, where they expanded too early and brought in a whole bunch of international players, and the financials just went into
Or the
chaos.
NASL,
I don't remember with the one that Pele played.
yeah, NASL man, with
With
Cosmos and those
yeah,
guys.
Cosmos.
Yeah, because if the MLS is what since 1993, somewhere around there. But as I said, the MLS thing is difficult for Jamaican players because, as I said, you have to be exceptional talent.
I only watch MLS highlights as well. It's boring. It's a boring league as well for me. It's just no excitement. It's just I don't
I
know.
don't
For
know.
me, guys, football is a gladiator sport. See, I look back at like potentially like the days of
You'll never watch a JPL then,
you remember the Roman Empire where you had gladiators in the arena. You want the best gladiators out there. Like I can't sit there and just watch few come on a sword fight. And I watch the JPL based on talent, looking for who is the next young Jamaican coming up,
But
because
yeah,
that's it.
who's
Not
Claudia is saying that got offered millions? Most of those European players, when they come, MLS pays them. It's not the club pay them. When Zlatan came, MLS pays Zlatan. MLS pays
Yeah.
Beckham. MLS pays those players.
Because I'm a salary cap and all of that.
And when the Beckham was earning the entire LA Galaxy.
No, I think each team get an exception. They have some the carvers
No, I
exception.
know they have the luxury thing, but MLS
each team
actually was
exception.
paid. But based on how it's set up, the deal, MLS actually was paying a portion of Beckham.
Yeah, those players are market. They're there for market purposes.
Remember, when Beckham went to the MLS, MLS wasn't nothing. They brought in Beckham to promote the league.
Yeah.
So most of the big
He
players
was
that
like the
they
biggest
brought
star that
in,
got it. Yeah.
yeah,
David,
most of the big
yeah.
players that they brought in was to promote the league. So that's why MLS was paying his part of his money, and he went to one of the top clubs. You understand?
Now he has a club in MLS.
Right. So
Exactly. He make use
it's
of
just
it.
promotion. It's
Because I
just
think it
they
was
were
a part of the
using
deal,
Beckham as promotion.
But it was a part of the deal.
They're
that
still
he-
trying
that
to
he
find
said.
MLS still trying to find a footing in the football world, Remember
No, but I
that they
think-
have not yet found a footing.
Yeah, but I think MLS problem is
MLS are top 12 right now, so with some respect.
But, no man, I think MLS problem is they don't want to play football the way, or they don't want to structure their league the way the world
does.
Yeah,
They say they Americanized
the conference
sport.
style.
Americanized
Yeah.
I think if they had not Americanized it, I think they would have been up there because you see if they had so for example, like Europe said, relegation, promotion, and all these things. If MLS had say MLS, then USL, then another league, and was relegating teams and promoting teams, their football would be at a different level because guess what happened? If you come last in the league, I think based on how the draft works, you get the best player in the draft.
It's just like the NFL. It's a capitalist. It's the capitalist approach. It's the same thing they wanted to do with Manchester United.
They are looking at the same like this. All right, for instance, say LA Galaxy may perform good in one season, and next season they don't perform, but yet still LA Galaxy can generate a lot of crowd. You understand? Because they have stars and they can generate a lot of funds. You don't want that team to get relegated.
It's an elitist.
You can't get that side relegated. They're not gonna lose.
The models work for the countries in which they operate.
It
doesn't work in Europe because
they use their model is biased model. Basically.
No, it's not biased. It's a business.
Well,
you have to understand the business.
Business matter.
So I invest my money. I spend millions of dollars to buy the Atlanta franchise, and then it goes into USL, call it that, and I'm gone.
Right.
What I'm doing all my money? That's not. What would I pay for it?
Yeah.
So,
that's what I'm talking about.
All right, Stan. But that's the same reason why they wanted Super League. The American owners.
No, I just said that it is.
Just come together as friends.
I support
no relegation.
I support the Super League.
Come on, Stan.
I
want
to see a Villarreal kick out Manchester United.
That tells me that Stan doesn't enjoy competitive football. Stan is a capitalist, He's a true capitalist.
JT is the same reason you don't watch MLS JT. The same reason you don't watch MLS JT.
Higher, different levels.
Can you listen to the logic first before you said no? So if I want to see Barca play Man U, and Barca play City, and Arsenal play City, and Juventus play. I don't want to see Juventus play some Malmo or teams I don't know idea about and waste my time watching it. I want to see competition every week. I want to get excited every week, like I do for Man U Liverpool, or I do for Arsenal Spurs, or I do for Man City Man U. I don't want to watch some no-name team playing every week. It's a waste of my time.
But then Stan, so then you're basically taking out the competitive nature out of football.
I'm putting it in football.
But JT, yeah, but JT, you do the same thing too. JT, you do the same thing too. You do the same thing too. You take out the competition out the football.
No. Hear what I'm saying here. Tika, this. All right. When you have like last week, a few weeks, was it 2 weeks ago? The expectation was for Manchester United to beat Norwich. Here's Norwich club that got a new coach, and they stood up to Manchester United, and they got a point. When you have
JT, start using aberrations as if that's the norm.
Right.
Norwich has been up and down continuously, and we go back down again. Similar to Watford, the teams at the bottom don't really make inroads.
But then Stan, you're removing the underdog. You're moving.
You want the fairy tale.
No,
guys, let me say this. This was being proposed for the regular leagues. This was proposed for a Super League, not the regular leagues. And by the way, there were teams that had opportunity to get into the ESL. They just had a fixed number, and then others to get into the ESL. It wasn't as if no one could penetrate the ESL. That wasn't the case.
What, Stan, you know why I was against it? Is it teams like Barca that take out their money and ruin their club or buy some baller that they did not need? And that is why they want a Super League to basically not be in the position.
I don't want to watch that crap.
Now.
I don't want to watch Barca and
they
PSG
ruin their
play
club.
every week.
I know they
You
want
want to
some
watch Club Blues play? You want to watch Club Blues play Man City and get destroyed?
But at the end of the day, you're going to get stale, you know. If you have City playing Juventus every week,
it's boring.
You're going to get stale eventually because none of the big teams going to want to lose.
It never gets stale.
It gets
Man City
stale.
and Liverpool never get stale, guys. Because Man City Liverpool.
You might see a lot of draw games because teams don't want to lose.
It gets stale. But guess what? There's no
You might see a lot of draw
relegation.
games.
There's nothing to play for. It's just TV rights, basically. Those kind of
When
games.
you're in
What I want to see is
guys.
Yeah.
When you're in the last
that's like having the World Cup. That's like having the World Cup every 2 years. Nobody don't want to see that. We prefer to see the World Cup every 4 years.
I want to see the World Cup every 2 years.
We don't want to see those play. It kind of water down, and that's a different topic.
I want to see the World Cup.
It kind of water down the thing.
But them have a conference World Cup coming up.
Because Eddie, we are get old in there. I tell me say
so Eddie going to Antigua and CC, y'all in Jamaica. You use high school as an example, right?
Yeah.
You want to see KC play some McGregor XYZ school when they get him 4 and 5. You want to see those games? You want to see KC play JC or KC play KT or KC play
but not every day. Not every day.
You want to see that?
You don't want. You want to see them play some subs team, but you know.
Yeah, because sometimes you want to see some 6 love or 7 love.
Who wants to see that?
Come on, man.
Waste of time.
Yeah, but I mean, as I said before, it's just the balance in how you do a lot of these things. But Kevin Lambert, I just believe that the fact that we don't have the greatest of a stadium, we need a holy midfielder. I think you can try him and try the little schoolboy youth. And that's just my opinion. Me just want to see you try him and try Pearson. Just try the ball in a friendly
Pearson can't be worse than Haka. Pearson can't be worse than Haka.
In a friendly match. In a friendly match.
You know, on sports
friendly or real, it can't be worse. I haven't seen him play against grown-ups. Yeah, so it's hard to say, but he can't be worse than Haka.
In Sports Talk Radio this week, they stated that the CDM position in England is one of the weakest positions. So if you're a CDM and you're dominating, if you're dominating in the USL and you're stuck in the USL, that tells me a lot.
That's worse why Calvin Phillips is injured now. So I mean, but even England itself struggles with that position, JT.
Most teams, because it's not exciting. It's not exciting. It's a dirty work. It's the dirty work position, Yeah.
France, Brazil, and Spain, but Spain doesn't even no longer have one. Spain had in a Xabi Alonso or Busquets. But right now, if you look in the world, you only have France and you probably have Brazil. I'm not sure any other team I could say that they have a proper holding midfielder outside of France and Brazil. Everybody else is just.
It's a janitor. It's a janitor job. Nobody wants to do it. It's
unless he's a classic mirror.
Lads, we're closing off now. Final thoughts on Shamar's move. Any well wishes and yeah.
I just want to say I don't want the fans to misunderstand anything here. As a Jamaican, Jamaican first, I support Shamar Nicholson, and watching his interview, you can relate to his story. And with a young man coming from a background like that, losing his father, you can't really hate on that. That tells you he has a drive, he's motivated, he has a cause that he's playing for. But outside of that, I'm gonna keep it football, because we all lost somebody as well. We all have problems in our lives. But when it comes to football, you're on that screen, you put yourself out there for criticism. And no footballer is no footballer is above being criticized based on their play on the pitch. But as for Shamar Nicholson, as a person first, I support him and I wish him all the best. I just think Russia, for me, it's gonna be the revelation of Shamar Nicholson. It's gonna be the make or break, because if he doesn't perform well in Russia, he's not going up. You guys have to keep this in mind. You're not gonna perform terribly in Russia and get a bigger contract. So you have to keep this in mind. So I want him to perform well there, but I know it's a tough league. That's the Russian league. It's the oligarch league. It's a different style of football. It's rugged down there. But I think Shamar Nicholson is physical enough. And for me, it's a watch and see. And I'm gonna support him. I don't think I'll be watching any games until they're in the Champions League because I don't know. I don't really watch Russian football. It doesn't excite me. So when he gets to the Champions League, I will support and I'll watch and I see how Shamar Nicholson perform on the big stage. I'm happy about that for sure. Him playing in Europe, I'm excited about.
And Jamaica.
That's
Stan?
another story. I don't think Stan, you hearing?
Final thoughts on Boza?
Look, we're happy for the player. We hope he does exceptionally well. We hope he scores a lot of goals, keep refining his game, and hopefully he'll do well enough to get promoted to a higher league. And hopefully he makes so much money he can't count it.
See.
Stan had to add that.
Yeah, man. Get the bag.
No, as I said before, I just want to see the striker go continue this rich vein of farming, qualify the team for Europe, and then take it from there come September. But qualify the team for Europe is secondary to getting us to the World Cup. Come on, score a couple goals. You understand? Off the back of this move, no one that depend on eye. You don't say, yo, you're on this level now where I say, yo, $11 million baller. Yeah, JT. But I mean, I'm happy for the player because you can see where progress is being made. He started out scoring less than 10 goals in Belgium. Then he scored 10 goals. Then he's at 13 goals in 14 starts and the rest substitutions. Plus he's assisting as well. So you can see where he's developing in a complete forward. His game is developing into a complete forward. And that is what you want to see from a striker, because if you're not scoring, how can you contribute to the game otherwise? You understand? And if you're assisting or you're scoring, that means you're either assisting or scoring. You're affecting the game in terms of goal contribution either way. So I like to see that. And I'm going to say big move, good move for himself, his family, everybody involved. So all I say is wishing the ball at the very best for the rest of the year and just hit the ground running and take your time. And he's getting a new coach as an Italian coach. And Italians are very pragmatic in their style of play. So it depends to see how things will work out. But I'm looking forward to see things work out. And he plays for 2 seasons of a very good at least two, because I think it's a 4-year deal, if I'm not wrong, because it's until 2026.
Yeah, man.
So I'm saying that I think if he does well enough and stuff, then you look forward to a bigger move. It don't necessarily has to be England, because you have the top 5 leagues. You have France, you have Belgium, you have something, Bundesliga, you have La Liga, you have Italy as well. So it doesn't necessarily have to be EPL.
It's a 2-year deal, CC. You just remember that. As a football player, there's no such thing as a 4-year deal. You have 2 years. And if you're not performing, you will get out of yourself.
Unless it's Gareth Bale. Gareth Bale, that magic about 10 years now. And them on their golf, them on the play.
Yeah.
You understand? But I mean, to me, for it, Boza is, we can say that Boza is right now this generation big striker in terms of locally bred player, in terms of from coming from a Luton, coming from a Ricardo, Fuller, and those guys. Boza is the next one, because Fuller, Tivoli are something Luton. So Boza to me is the new generation of the locally bred player who went to Europe and has reached this level. You understand? So we're just looking forward for greater things, because better things for Boza means better things for Jamaica in terms of our international football game, and more exposure, and other players can feed off this opportunity. Who's to tell that Boza comes in the team? Other players, the more eyes is on the team. The fact that he's playing in the Russian league and stuff. So that's just my 2 piece.
Well said. Tigat.
Yeah, man. So I wish the young man well, and I hope he perform best of his ability. So yeah, man. I wish Boza well. So JT and CC said it all. You know. So I just wish him well. You know. So hope that more Jamaicans can get a call up to go over there too and play.
Yeah, man, and I want to wish all the viewers and subscribers a Merry Christmas when it comes and a Happy New Year. Thank you very much for sticking with us for the year, and
Yes.
we hope for bigger and better things next season or next year,
Definitely.
I should say. I want to thank all the guests for coming out today. Let us first
Yes.
thank Coach Andrew Price, kicking off the show with
Big
us
up Andrew Price.
today. Big up Andrew Price as always. Want to thank Jay Taylor,
Big up
CC.
yourself, Jay Taylor. CC,
Yeah,
big up yourself.
CC have a YouTube channel, I believe, too, CC Sports Lab. So you guys go over there and check that out. Big up the
Yes.
infamous Stan Cranky.
Big up yourself, Cranky.
Always nice to have Cranky on the show to
Yes.
get his views.
Thank
It was
you
a
to close
pleasure.
off.
It was a
Thank
pleasure,
you.
guys. Before we leave, what up on the menu for Christmas dinner, Tiga? What's on the menu? People in the
Yeah,
comment
the menu
section, let me know what's on the menu
Yeah,
for
the menu,
Christmas.
the menu
Christmas
kind
Day.
of big, Menu kind of thick,
There's a
We
turkey.
have some fish. We have some mutton. We have some pork. I think you understand. So the menu kind of large, Menu kind of
So now you
large.
can't walk when you're done. You can't walk when
Stan,
you're done.
That
Stan,
me
how
talk
your
about,
Stan, how your menu look?
I'm a vegetarian, so we can't talk about food in the car.
Vegetarian.
Eddie,
Yeah,
before
I'm
Stan leave,
Sad.
I just want to ask Stan before he leaves because I haven't been on many shows with him. Stan, what is do you think Paul Hall is the man for the job long term? I'm sorry about that, Eddie, because I haven't been on any
Man.
shows with Stan. I just
No, man.
wanted
Go
to
ahead,
know
man.
his take.
It's a good question. I think time will tell, JT. I don't know. Time will tell. I do think though he's been a little bit of a politician, and I want to be less political. Just try to get the job. Don't talk about Bailey and when you position Bailey. Don't talk about some other things we just hear him mentioning. Just go on and execute. We want him in the media, we want him to speak, but I don't want you to be a politician. We're not trying to be. We want to get the best players, get us to the World Cup. Then you can be a politician. That's how you spend the money. But I don't want you a politician now. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. Try to figure out what you need. Ask the JFF to source it. Go out, put the players in position to give them the best chance to win.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, guys. See you next week, Thursday. Big up, everybody.